Hello, YouTube. This is me reacting to the latest Trash Taste episode to this date because I saw this title. Defending our worst takes we've had. I saw like a meme and it was saying, do you know how little that narrows it down? And I just laughed my ass off when I saw it. Anyways, I wonder how bad can this get? I'm going to go to full screen. Yeah. And let's begin.
Guys, this is your final week to get some Trash Taste drip. What are you waiting for? Why are you watching this video? Click the link in the description right now.
I already pre-ordered.
Buy the Trash Taste merch. You're going to regret it if you don't get it right now.
You have exactly 1 week left. 7 whole days. And after that, you will never see these ever again. Don't complain to us. We gave you a fair warning. Link in the description right now. We got t-shirts. We got the sweater. Everything is beautiful.
I got the drip.
Everything is delicious. Get your hands on it right now. Link in the description.
You fucking what?
Nah.
You fucking numpty. You fucking what, man?
Welcome back to this episode of Trash Taste. I'm Connor, and I'm here again, once again, say it again, with the boys.
Once again,
Once again, with the boys, gone Joey. I really fucked that up, so that's
Wow.
Trash Taste special.
It's been a while since you've hosted, to be fair.
It has.
Oh yeah, it feels like
months.
it. Even though we've filmed a bunch of episodes, we've been away. Yeah, and
Well,
we've
yeah,
not.
Well, the last one you hosted was Felix.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
A month
Which
ago.
was like 3 months ago for us.
That was a month ago for you guys, right? That was really soon, right? Right, guys? How you guys been? What have you been up to?
I'm going to turn on the subtitles just for fun.
What a great-
Joe, what have you been up
What a
to?
great podcast.
Yeah.
Wow, we don't fucking do anything.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, that's a really fucking good question, Connor. What have I done this week other than just play Pokemon? Because that's
Is that
literally
fun?
all.
Is it good?
I'm liking
It's-
Joey's
You haven't
hair.
been touching grass. You've been touching some virtual grass.
I've been touching some virtual 5 frames per second grass.
Yeah.
I don't
and it's been
we all
great.
know
Pokemon
we
is
all
so
established you
bugged.
don't see frames. You can't tell the difference between 60
No,
and
I don't
44.
see frames.
That's why you like the new
That's why
Pokemon.
people are like, oh, the Switch has performance issues and this game runs like shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? It runs exactly the same. It's perfect.
Oh my
Copium.
god, the fact that I've seen clips and so much shit. I'm like, how could you not tell the difference? This is
Okay,
awful.
so yeah, I mean, there was rumors going around being like, oh, if you bought the physical copy, then it runs a million times more worse, and it's a million times more glitchy than the digital version.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why, because like mine was like,
That
I
makes
had a
no
couple
sense.
of like, because I mean, I had a couple of like frame drops and shit like that, and a lot of parts that were like just struggling to load. But I weren't having like huge crashes like some people were. So maybe there's some truth to that matter, but
it's
yeah.
I think they sold 10 million copies in the first 3 days. I think.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
They made so much
first
money
test.
for a
It's a
buggy
very highly
game.
anticipated series. Yeah, I mean, I just
So-
finished it yesterday.
Actually, I
the
know
main
nothing
story.
about this because I don't really follow the gaming sphere, especially Pokemon.
Yeah.
So, is this like a new mainline game, or
Yeah,
is this?
it's the 9th generation.
Okay. And is
Ninth.
it like 2D, 3D?
3D. So
Oh, look.
so it's kind of like
And
Legends
it is
Arceus,
Chico.
if you saw anything about that.
You can.
Except this time it's actually open world. Unlike Arceus, that is an open zone game, and I'm like, oh,
Is that
okay.
the Sonic game?
Is it
It's like
open?
there's areas that are open, but then I think that's been a lot of other games, and we never had
Yeah.
a term for it. We were just like, that's level.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Mario Odyssey, right? Where it's like once you open up the world, then you have free range on the entire world, and you can
Yeah.
do whatever the fuck
Right.
you want in that area. But in order to open up the next zone, you have to progress in the story. Kind of
Right,
thing.
right.
Whereas this one is the actual first proper open world, where like the entire map is actually open for you. And like the only like roadblocks of like traversing through the world is like, you got to get your Pokemon to like surf so you can go in the ocean or something like that. But other than that, like places you can walk, it's fully open.
Okay.
Okay.
As somebody who's played a fuck ton of Pokemon, and I don't really feel that interested to play this new one, is there any reason I should play the new one? Is there anything new? Is there anything I care about? Or is it literally the same
Not
thing?
for reasons you will care about. Because
Let me guess.
His face.
Story.
yeah,
Story.
story and music
Look
are
at his
probably
face.
the best in any Pokemon game.
Guns laughing.
Two things
Bro, let me
clearly
tell you-
Connor heavily cares about.
Connor,
in his
let me
video
tell you
games.
about the story and the music. It's incredible.
Has the
Connor.
gameplay changed at all?
Okay, so the game. Okay, so the gameplay loop. Okay, did you play Arceus at all?
I did.
Okay, did you like the gameplay loop of Arceus?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's essentially the same
all the
thing.
Pokemon
I haven't
running
played
All the
any
Pokemon
of
are
the
running
Pokemon
around
games.
in the open world. Of course, it's like I would say Arceus was miraculously somehow less buggier in that sense, because there are moments where like Pokemon will suddenly appear and then you approach them and then they just straight up disappear.
What the hell?
And so there's like,
Sounds like a great game.
I mean, it's great to stream because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because the game is just so glitchy and broken. But like, other than that, like the gameplay loop, I would say, is really good. And I don't know. This is like the big argument when it comes to like every new generation of Pokemon being like, have Pokemon designs gotten lazier or have they gotten better? It's like a never-ending fucking argument, right?
They
Like,
do look more like
They're running
from the
out of
brief,
ideas, so
like pictures I saw of the new Pokemon, they look more like Digimon than Pokemon.
a lot of people have said that.
They
Yeah.
very much look like, whoa, okay.
I will say though, I think this is probably the one generation where I think all 3 starter Pokemon are just as popular as one another.
Okay.
Because like, you know how
Really?
like in like Gen 1, for example, it's like clearly like, you know,
I didn't like the
Charmander or Squirtle were like
Yeah.
the top 2 contenders. Is like
Yeah.
Bulbasaur, I sleep.
Fire one.
Yeah.
You know, and it was like there was always one starter where it's like I sleep, or there was a clear winner.
Yeah.
I feel in this
And the
generation,
duck.
I've seen like almost an equal dispersion of all 3 starters, because I think like
Yeah.
all 3 of the designs are really solid, and like just again like the gameplay kind of really doesn't really matter really like what kind of starter you pick at the end of the day, because it is an open world and you can go in any direction.
I want them to make starters that aren't water, fire, or grass. I feel like they should do that. Just like, is it because
It's
of,
a
is it 'cause
staple.
of the 3 colors that are aesthetically pleasing?
It's a
is that why
staple.
we stick
Yeah,
to it? Like,
and
why do we stick to
Well,
the...
I guess it's also because of the OG like triangle, right?
Yeah.
Of like, you know, one is stronger than the other, you know, kind of thing.
I
but
guess so. But I feel like it could be more exciting to
Yeah, I agree.
have it mix up. You know?
maybe in a
Yeah, I
spin-off.
agree.
Because they all get 2 types anyway now.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
like, all right, well, why don't we just do, all right, well, we get fire later on or some shit. I
Yeah,
don't fucking know.
but I'm sure you can like traverse through the game without using your starter at all.
Yeah, I mean, you normally can. Pokemon's easy enough now where you have to have 1 IQ to
Yeah.
fail. Like, it's
I don't know
really
about
hard
that.
to fuck up.
It is. It is.
I mean, is it worth getting back into Pokemon nowadays? Because
Well, it
aside-
depends. Where did you stop?
I stopped Pokemon Ruby. That's
Pretty far.
yes,
That's long.
yes, I know,
time
right,
ago.
I know.
I mean,
The-
you did play peak Pokemon in my
Yeah,
opinion.
because
so,
I've,
yeah.
I, I,
Dark
pl- I
Soul.
played Red and Blue, I played Gold and Silver, then I played Ruby, and I was like, okay, I think I'm done.
That's fair. I think...
and it's been like how many decades now?
Yeah.
You know?
It's
And the
like
core
20.
formula hasn't changed, and it's
Yeah.
gotten easier.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
So
yeah.
I think the reason why Pokemon has had a lot of longevity amongst older people is that you add the Nuzlocke, you add the challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You add a spin to it that makes it interesting for yourself.
Yeah, because the way I see the Pokemon franchise in my mind,
I just noticed
it's
Connor's
kinda
the only
like
one
same
wearing the
way,
Pari drip.
Isekai
Joey
is
and Garner
family,
wearing something
where
else.
It's iterations
Uh,
of the same idea.
That's
and
offensive.
He's gonna
and
wear
if-
that on every single podcast
okay,
now.
tell me if you like it,
I don't
then
know.
you
I don't know
can
who's
you can
offended
eat.
more by that. I think
That one sweater's gonna be.
Pretty
I was
fucking
gonna say
lazy.
something like it's a lot like Game of Thrones, where it's like if you're like 6-7
Wait,
What?
hold on.
in the,
What-
no,
what-
in the
what?
sense of like how the fan base works, where it's like, okay, if you're already 6 or 7 seasons in, you might as well just fucking finish the rest at that point.
Well, they're all like
Wait,
different
wait,
games, though.
hold
What
up.
are you talking
Hold
about?
up.
Game
I'm
of
gonna
Thrones
recap
is like
on this.
one continuing.
Hold on.
That makes
hold
no
up.
sense.
What the fuck?
This is coming from someone who's never seen Game of Thrones, by the way.
What the fuck are you
Oh,
talking
okay,
about,
that makes
Joey?
so much sense. That makes so much sense. I'm gonna just get a pause from now on. I'm gonna pause whenever I have a comment. Huh? There's a tag there.
What I mean is, if you, it's a lot like any long form TV series where it's got multiple series, right, or multiple seasons. Where like, okay, you enjoyed the first couple of ones,
No.
okay, maybe the third or fourth one slightly starting to
No.
go downhill, but you're already committed at this point. You might as well
I
just see
don't
it till
agree
the
with
end.
No.
this. I don't agree with this. I feel like
Because I haven't
Pokemon...
enjoyed every Pokemon game. Some of
Yeah.
the Pokemon games, in my opinion, have been quite shit. Like
Yeah.
Sun and Moon were pretty mid, in my opinion.
Sword and Shield was dog shit.
It wasn't dog shit. It was mid.
I hated that.
It was okay.
I hated it. I hated
X
it.
and Y was like, yeah, it was okay as well.
I can't remember a single Pokemon from Sword and Shield, except for like the 2 characters.
The
on
sword and
front.
the shield one?
Yeah, there's the old, if you tell me to name any Pokemon from that game, I'm
Yeah.
like,
I don't even know what any of the Pokemon's names from Sword and Shield.
I'm the
Yeah.
same though with like X and Y or like Sun and Moon. I'm like, after that point, for me, it's like after Gen 4 and the recent one that I just played, I don't really remember any
I
of
didn't
them.
play.
What was X and Y? All I remember was one was a deer, and one was a flying birdie thing that was shaped like a Y. Okay, I don't remember Pokemon anymore. I don't
Like some
know.
Wild Sun and Shields, that's why I don't. But
Yeah.
I don't. I played the whole game. And I don't remember any. But also, I wouldn't say it's like the Game of Thrones analogy. I'd say it's more like it's independent series, right? So there's no ongoing story.
Isekai.
No,
No, it's more like the different seasons of Digimon, where each seasons are different, but they still have the same Digimon. But yeah, that's a bad comparison. Yeah.
Okay.
no.
Let me
Because Isekai is not the same Isekai series, right? It's not like we've done. This is one guy in the same world as a smartphone.
No video sent. No video testing.
And then there's a different story with a different cast of characters.
Oh,
And-
it's like it's like iterations of the same kind of formula. It's kind of like
Doctor Who.
No, because that would be like. Yes, okay. It's like
it's
Doctor
more
Who.
like Doctor Who.
More like Doctor
Wait,
Who.
is there like an ongoing story or something?
No,
Doctor
but
Who
there,
isn't.
but like Doctor Who is also in
but
the
then
sense
they do
that
have
like
some callbacks.
it has,
This
but
is
Pokemon also
There
has
we go.
callbacks as well. Like there are a lot of
many.
callbacks in
Yeah.
the newer generations where you wouldn't really understand it. I think especially in terms of like the lore, which is the same with Doctor Who, right? Where it's like you could just like go straight into season 10, which is everyone
You've
knows
never
is the
watched
best.
Doctor Who, have you?
I've watched the
Doctor Who doesn't-
5 to 11.
Well, the story,
Okay,
the
okay,
story of
okay.
Doctor Who doesn't. Well, it kind of
I've never
does
seen the
separate,
first-
but then they
yeah.
do have callbacks and mentions.
Like
Yeah, I mean-
I've never seen the first
this
couple
is a
of
mess. We fucked this up.
I don't even know what the fuck they're talking about.
Like in terms of Doctor Who, I've never seen like the first 4 seasons of Doctor Who.
No.
But I still enjoyed all the seasons I watched because they don't
4 seasons. I didn't even know they had seasons before season 9.
heavily depend on the callbacks.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like if you want to fully 100.
It's like a trash taste episode. You don't have to watch the one before.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing.
No, I mean, Doctor Who has always had like one goal, which is for the Doctor, it's find Gallifrey, find other Time Lords and stuff like that. There's always
the
been
fuck?
like one central goal, and then you've had like story arcs
that the
have, like,
original?
come and gone with different characters and everything, but the core idea of the
Goal?
show
'Cause
has
I
always
don't remember
remained
that.
kind of the same.
Pokemon's
you know?
exactly the same. What's the end goal? To be the very best.
There
There are a couple of side
Very
characters
best.
that have their own storylines you follow, but at the end of the day, you're there to fucking beat the Elite Four and be the champion.
Yeah, there's no need to play any Pokemon game prior to.
Yeah, I get that.
Even I think like Black and White and Black and White 2. I don't
Yeah.
even think their stories
No.
are necessarily like.
Yeah, I
could be wrong. I might talk about my ass.
No, you're right, you're
What
right.
I was trying to say is, I got like the reason I stopped playing was just because I got kind of tired of the formula,
Yeah,
and then I was
shit.
just like, is there anything? What I was trying to ask is there anything new to like bring me back
Yes.
in?
So
Aside from Arceus, which actually looks interesting to me.
Yeah, well, Arceus is not even a mainline game.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
exactly.
in terms of Violet Scarlet, the new one,
Yeah.
What I thought was really really cool was like the open world thing is of course one thing, but also now there are 3 branching storylines that you can choose to do.
Oh, okay.
And
That's pretty cool.
And so it's like one of the storylines is the beat the 8 gyms, beat the Elite Four, become the champion, the standard one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there are 2 other storylines that you can do
Yeah.
that follow 2 separate characters. And
Uh-huh.
then, well, I mean, at the end of the day, in order to get to like the final end, you have to
Yeah.
do all 3 storylines anyway. But you
Oh,
can do this
that's
storyline
interesting.
in any order you want.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you can choose to be like, I'm just gonna fucking Elite Four and become
Yeah.
the champion, and then start this next one. Or
Okay.
what I did was I did all 3 simultaneously.
Okay. Well, that sounds
And so it's like,
interesting.
okay, so I just defeated the 5th gym. Instead of going to the 6th gym, I'm just gonna go do this next part of this story.
Right.
And so it's kind of like a pick your own adventure type of style, and that works really well in like the open world setting.
Yeah.
So now it becomes like this fresh new thing that you can do. It's not just like I need to make the best team and become the best.
What do you
kind
think
of thing.
about people criticizing the visuals of the game, that they don't look as good as up to par as other Nintendo Switch games?
Okay, so one thing I don't know if this is a hot take, but I personally
see
don't
the
have
volume.
a problem with like the way that the game looks, because I mean, if you think about it, that just kind of how it works in the style of Pokemon, right? Like, I can't imagine a Pokemon game that has the graphics of like a Breath of the Wild.
Well, I don't think it's that. I think they're just
No,
saying. I think a
that's
lot
not
of
gonna
criticism
happen.
was levied at them because they're like, the sceneries look really fucking boring. And
Oh,
to be
yeah.
fair,
They
I've,
look-
I've seen a lot of the screenshots of the game. I'm like, wow, this looks so visually boring.
It is.
Yeah, I agree with that. It looked so visually boring sometimes.
All the
From what I
backgrounds and
saw.
the textures look really bad.
But I think as well, unlike say like, because the one game a lot of people use to compare is Breath of the Wild, right? Being
Yeah.
like, oh, Breath of the Wild had like so much shit going on, and
Yeah.
like the environment was actually like interactive and really cool. But like,
Yeah.
the whole point of Breath of the Wild is to interact with your surroundings. Whereas in the Pokemon games, it's not to interact with the surroundings, it's to interact with the Pokemon.
But I understand that I would be like, wow, this Pokemon in this natural habitat on this one by one PNG texture that looks like ass. Like I'd be like, well, you know,
no. Could they have done better? Absolutely.
Yeah,
because like they should have done better.
They're going closer to like indie horror devs. Where like, we're just making one big texture. And we'll
Dude,
call
Game
it
Freak is doing this really cool thing where they're bringing back the PS2 graphics, man. Like, it's a real forward-thinking move.
One thing that has always confused me about, I guess, like the success of Pokemon, like mainline Pokemon games, right, is that. Would you say that there has been a Pokemon game within like the last few years that you would say is like an absolute must play, kind of like the kind of like killer app that you'd see like Breath of the Wild or like a really.
I would say no, not at all. If there was a game that what he's describing, I would have bought and played the game myself.
Really highly acclaimed game.
Not really.
A lot of people's favorite game is Black and White 2. A lot of people love that one. But again, but the Nintendo DS era is all. I mean, they're very minute changes each one and improvements.
Also, I think a lot of Pokemon fans' favorites are Black and White 2 is because it has one of the best stories. But if you don't give a shit about the story of Pokemon games, which a lot of Pokemon players don't, then it's like. There's not really
there's
like
no
a thing
game that you have to
Pokemon
play.
has a
I think
story.
Pokemon is just a juggernaut of advertising and brand recognition. And also it's easy. Like you, as a parent, you don't have to think about buying your kid Pokemon. Because you as the parent know what Pokemon is.
It's like Mario. You don't have to. There isn't like a must-play Mario game.
There are some fucking classic Mario games. Holy shit.
I think all of them are must
But is that
plays.
you saying that through nostalgia goggles, or is that you saying that through like...
Odyssey still
Odyssey was
remains
nuts.
as like one of the best Switch
I still have never played Odyssey, but that's because I don't own a Switch.
games, and like
I agree.
I think it was like my game of the year, like the year it was released. It was like a fucking incredible game. Same with like Zelda as well. Breath of the Wild completely revolutionized the gaming,
Switch.
the open world genre after it got released. So there have been like big IPs that have had killer apps, but for me, what always confused me about Pokemon is that it sells like fucking hotcakes. It breaks every kind of record imaginable, and then I look at the game reviews, and then every time a new game comes out, it's like, yeah, it's all right, it's good.
It's because I feel Pokemon generally are appealing to two types of player bases: the children
Gamers.
and the old school Pokemon fans.
Right.
They're not trying to get like this new adult fan base who has never played Pokemon before, because they know there's no Pokemon game that they can make that will be like a 20-year-old kid who's never played a Pokemon game will be like, yeah, you know what? I should give that game a go. They're not going to do that.
It's like water. Everyone drinks water, whereas Breath of the Wild is like the most exquisite wine, where it's like, shit, I gotta be 21, I gotta have some money, and I gotta be in wine. Like, if you like that, it's the best
of games.
It's like the best thing ever. If you have that you want to get into it. But Pokemon is so basic and so
Pokemon's the
standard.
Fiji water of games.
It's literally just anyone can drink it. You know what I mean?
Anyone can drink it.
Anyone on earth, and anyone likes it.
Yeah,
it's like,
everyone's gonna drink it, but no one's gonna be ejaculating over a bottle of Fiji water. They're just gonna be like,
fuck?
It quenched my thirst.
Yeah.
I'm satisfied.
I don't know. Personally, I'm just like kind of over Pokemon. I'm like, I kind of enjoy it when there's a Nuzlocke or something fun to do.
And that's the thing. I totally get that, which is why I always find it frustrating when these fucking Pokemon fans are like, no, I swear this is the generation that everyone has to play. I'm like, no. They don't, because at the end of the day, it's a fucking children's game.
Everyone say Pokemon fans hate everything.
They do.
Oh, okay.
But Pokemon fans are the type of motherfuckers who will be like, first week of Violet and Scarlet coming out, being like, this game looks like shit. And then a week later, they'll be like, all right, I'll give it a go.
Yeah,
they'll complain about everything.
Yeah, it's funny you talking about this because I've just been, I just finished drinking the finest wine,
What?
the finest top tier wine, because I think I might have
Breath of the Wild of wine.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might have found like a game that's come into like my new top 10 games of all time, because I just finished playing God of War, the new God of War.
Okay.
And that's a good. It's like incredible.
Good take.
Yeah,
Good
everyone
take.
said
Every sense of the words, and I'm just like, fuck. I finished it like 2 days ago, and it's been a while since I've just finished a video game. I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life now. Like, I just feel an emptiness, and I just looked at like because after playing God of War, I was just like, I wanted to play some other games, and I just looked through my game list, and I was like, none of this is doing anything for me. I don't know.
None
what
of
to
this
do.
excites me
None
anymore.
of this excites me anymore. How on earth do I become a gamer
try.
again?
You have the post-nut clarity of games.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do anymore.
I don't know.
You know what you should do? Play Skull and Violet.
No.
No, that would just make it worse because
No.
then I would just start playing it and I'm like, this isn't good.
No, dude, because you'll understand. The story is really good.
How long is the
And the
PS
music's really
No.
How
good.
long has the PS5 been out for?
like
A year?
2 years.
No, 2 years now.
2 years?
2 years. Oh my
'Cause
god.
it came out during
Has it
pandemic.
really?
didn't
I remember when it first came out, nobody could get a PS5. And I still don't have a PS5 either.
it? Didn't
I
it?
thought it was like 2.5.
Yeah, I think it's like 2.5 years. Yeah.
I just realized I'm like I've had a PS5 and I've only gamed on it like one time.
Bro, God of War, I think you would really like it.
Do I need to play the previous God of War?
Yes, you do.
See,
Yeah.
that's the problem is that I gotta go and play the old one. I'm like, oh.
Have you played any of
No,
them?
no. It's all
like
the second
2018.
one. Basically, have you played stuff like The Last of Us or Uncharted or stuff like that? Because it's kind of like in the same kind of vein where it is like kind of like a cinematic
Yeah,
experience.
I've
just
seen
with
a lot of
gameplay.
it. I've seen a lot of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It looks
yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I have the heart of me to go and play the old one just to play the new one.
Well, actually, like
I don't think Connor will like God of War. He hates story. He hates story and he skips all the cutscenes.
the old
Wait.
one, I think the old one is is a fantastic game by itself as well. And by itself, it's still a fantastic game. You're not losing anything by playing the old one.
Yeah.
The only thing, like the old one builds on these like gameplay ideas and stuff like that. And one of the biggest criticisms of the old one was there was just not enough variation in one, like the boss battles and two enemy types, and kind of like the gameplay itself. And that's just because with the first one, they were completely rebuilding the franchise from the ground up.
Yeah.
So I actually really liked, the new, like when they introduced like new gameplay, it's a bit slower, a bit heavier, but I think that's the perfect introduction to this new game, which takes all of the ideas from this old game and then builds on everything basically.
Okay, that's good then.
So when playing the old one, you'll get like the freshness of like, oh, this feels good, and then just as it's about to get boring, then you finish the game and then you can go to the new one where all these new ideas start getting iterated and added on. And I think it's like the perfect journey as well from playing like the first one to the second one, because one, the story's amazing in both games, and I'm surprised that they only did 2 games, because I expected it to be a trilogy of sorts, but no, it's after
They
2
probably
games
will make
the
another
entire
game.
story
I don't
arc
think this
ended
is
now.
gonna
So
end
it's the
with
entire story
Ragnarok.
arc of the Nordic gods, this Nordic arc per se. And yeah, honestly, one of the best video game stories I've ever experienced.
Damn.
Damn.
Now you got to finish Elden Ring so you can find out what game of the year is this year.
Okay, here's the thing. Even if I finish Elden
Spoiler alert, Game Awards came out already last week. Elden Ring won Game of the Year. And Bill Clinton was
Ring, I don't think it could beat God of War for me, because
Ooh.
you know me. Story, important aspects, of course.
There's a lot of story in Elden
Story-
Ring.
I heard
I
there's a
know
lot of
what it
story in
is.
Elden Ring.
I know what it is, but there was a lot.
Tell me the story in Elden Ring.
There was a lot. There was a lot. I'll let you know.
story.
When I
There's
finish
a
it.
ring of some kind, I guess.
Because okay, here's the thing. What playing God of War made me realize, and this
Did
is
you want to play a movie?
huh?
Did you want to?
No. It's
No, I would play Death Stranding for that.
Death Stranding.
actually the opposite. It made me realize, okay, I actually do really care about gameplay. but like, okay, so let me break this down, right? So there are some very much Elden Ring Souls-like bosses in God of War that are really, really challenging. But you really have to, it's like a side quest, right? So it's not the main quest story.
Optional
so
boss.
It's optional bosses.
Yeah.
So the hardest bosses in the game have nothing to do with the mainline story, right?
Oh, that's good. I like it when you do that.
And basically, God of War was one of those games that I enjoyed so much that I wanted to complete. Like I 100%ed the game, which is
Ooh.
Oh my
only
God.
the second game in my life that I've ever 100%ed.
How many times did he
Which just shows how
did
much.
he play
What's
it?
your first one?
Huh? My first one is Tales game, Tales of Symphonia.
What the fuck? Wait, you've never before that? You'd never 100% of the game?
No. And
What?
Okay, I'll tell you. I'll get
To this day, I have never 100% a game.
to that. I'll get to that because what happened is I would complete the story and I'm like, okay, done. Why I don't need to play this game anymore. Right?
You never thought, wow, this game is fun. I wonder if I should just do the rest of the game.
No. That's my point, right? Because what I really liked about God of War is that you can do like one thing. Side quests are fucking incredible. They have as much impact into your emotions and the story. I feel like as much as mainline quest lines, right? That's one thing that makes a really, really special game. That's why everyone loves The Witcher 3 and stuff like that. God
Never
of War
played
has
The
the
Witcher
same kind
3.
of philosophy where you can do the mainline quests, but the side quests are, in my opinion, just as high quality as the mainline quests. So I wanted to do every single aspect of this game. And so by being really, really high quality, it tricked me into doing the optional bosses, right? Because otherwise I would have no interest in doing these optional hard bosses because I'm like, I'm here for the story. But because the quality of the story was so high, it tricked me into wanting to do the optional bosses. And in that process, I really, really fucking enjoyed my time just challenging myself and just, doing like the whole Souls kind of repeat, die. And after about 20 fucking tries, you finally get that boss and like, that feels fucking great.
Yeah.
I know I wouldn't have done that if there wasn't a storyline to play through, right? It's like with gameplay, in order for me
like
to
you want it to be immersed in rather than just tacked on at the end.
I need to know that there's a payoff at the end, other than just an intrinsic payoff.
Isn't the payoff?
What the fuck? Wait, so you just can't, you play a game and the only point of playing the game is so that you know the ending's good?
Yeah, so I know that.
What?
So I know that I
What?
get rewarded with something. Most of the time, it's
Wait, but
story.
isn't the payoff the fact that you 100% complete the game?
But you like fighting games, right?
I mean,
That pause.
Do you not like play a game? You're like, oh, this mechanics are fun. I want to keep playing this. You're like, God, I hope this is paying off soon. I'll find out. Jeez.
I think fighting games are different because I think competitive games are different because you get the satisfaction of beating a human opponent, right? Whereas in Souls-like games, I've really, really enjoyed the bosses, but there's even though I feel really, really satisfied, there's always this part missing where I want to know I'm working towards something. I want to know I'm working towards a storyline or, a cutscene or something.
Is self-improvement not something you're working towards? Is that not valuable?
That's why I could never really get into competitive games.
When I played like Elden Ring, I'm like, I really enjoyed the aspect of understanding the game mechanics and getting better at doing it. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting better at it. I didn't necessarily care about why I was getting
I
better.
enjoyed that as well, but it's not the core reason I would ever play a game.
Okay.
Because I can appreciate it, but
Well, yeah,
it's kind of like
a plus alpha,
you
right?
need to trick me into
I agree.
getting me to care about
I'm
it.
not going to just get better at any kind of thing that allows me to
Yeah.
get better. Like there needs to be something else there.
Which is why I'm really curious to see how you react to God of War, right? Because I think God of War is like, I've never seen such a perfect marriage of gameplay and story that blends so seamlessly. God of War got me to care about gameplay because it's so seamlessly blended in with the combat.
So what we're saying is there's a chance.
It blended so seamlessly in with the story that it actually got me to care about the gameplay.
So there's a chance that Connor might actually care about the story.
I'm wondering if it could do the impossible and get Connor to care about the story because it got me to care about the gameplay. Wow. It got me to 100.
All it takes is for him to be not able to skip the cutscene for him to get into it.
100% the game. I fucking love the gameplay. Love the mechanics. It got me to learn. Like it's one of those gameplay mechanics that's easy to pick up, but really, really hard to master when you get to like some of the really tougher optional bosses and stuff like that. And it got me to really care about that, which I would never usually spend this many hours like learning the mechanics of the gameplay. But I did it because the story is amazing and I wanted to grind through the story and I wanted to experience as much of this world and as much of these characters as I could that Santa Monica Studio have written and have like built up in this world. I wanted to experience and just spend more time with them. And that's why I wanted to grind through the gameplay, was because it was just such a pleasure to spend time in this world and the story. I'm wondering if we could get you to care about the story and the world building.
Possibly. I heard the story is very
That is
complicated.
like an impossible quest.
First one is very.
First one's simple, and the second one I heard was very like complicated.
I mean,
kind of-
it's I'm used to JRPG storylines. This
Well,
is
no,
a,
JRPG
this is a
storylines-
simple ass
JRPG
story, man.
JRPG
We've played
storylines-
13 Sentinels. That's fine.
Okay, JRPG storylines are like, oh, what do you mean you didn't read the full Wikipedia page before starting this arc? And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm not going to go out and Google shit.
Yeah.
Just let
It's the same thing with like Japanese horror games. It's so annoying to do like some of the side stuff to get the right ending.
me play the game. Like if I
God, I want to watch Connor play 13 Sentinels so bad now.
If this
Oh my God, he
game
has to
requires you
read.
to like study outside of the game or
Yeah.
read shit outside of the game, then I think it's failed as a game.
Oh
It's
no,
like a story.
It's not at all. In fact, I've way preferred the second game because the story was a bit more complicated. There were a lot more aspects.
Connor,
to
you
it.
forget. Gant's a Fate fan.
Yeah, I
He's
love
used
that.
to this
shit that
shit.
doesn't-
I love
you just
that
want
shit.
shit that
But
doesn't
it's
make
not even.
sense.
It's not even complicated. I don't think it's.
Huh. I just realized they have two Tsum Tsums. There's one on the table, and then there's one on the left, center, on right beside Saber. Oh, yeah, I can see my mouse. Yeah, right here, and right here, right here. Okay, continue.
It's like. I'm just thinking because like the first game was about as simple as you can get. Okay, let me tell you the story of the first game. Okay, so Kratos is a dad in this
know.
one. He has a wife.
Boy.
His wife dies, and his wife says, "Please spread my ashes on the highest peak on the realms." And the first game is them going to the highest realm and
Okay,
then
cool.
spreading her ashes, and
hype.
that's the game.
That's
right?
nice. That's hype.
Yeah,
I like that.
Nice
And then-
sentiment.
yeah, that's easy,
really
easy. Second game,
really basic.
it's
explanation.
about
Time travel comes in.
Oh my god!
Multiple dimensions.
Oh my.
So there's Kratos Blue, right?
Yeah.
So
No.
Kratos.
Super Saiyan Kratos.
Yeah. The second game is more about, well, Kratos doesn't want to go to war because even though he's the god of war, he doesn't really want to go to war.
I respect it.
And then inevitably they find he ends up going to war.
Yeah.
And that's a very simplified version
well, thank you. Don't spoil
of
it,
the
mate.
events, but that's basically what happens.
Okay,
They needed to find a reason for conflict to happen, and that's why I think the second game is a bit more like has more moving parts. But at the end of the day, it's compared to like some other movies or some other stories. I think the fucking MCU is more complicated than God of War. So it's not a complicated.
Yeah, the
story
MCU
at
is
all.
not complicated out of design. It's complicated because they're trying to milk it, and then now it's getting out of hand.
Yeah.
and also it's shit.
MCU is
Yeah.
getting really
like,
boring
If you can
for
follow
me.
shit like Game of Thrones or most TV shows, God of War is not that complicated at all.
enough.
It can be if you like go into like the lore and like the world building and everything like that. But in terms of like the core story, it's fine. It's fine.
That makes sense.
Your monkey brain can follow along. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Today's sponsor is PayPal Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or computer.
Boys, the holidays are coming up. How do you
Well,
feel
might as well
about your
include it.
shopping experience?
Oh, I'm dreading it, Joey. I'm dreading it. You're telling me you have to go outside and shop, Joey? Japan's open right now. Tourists are here.
Well, how do you guys feel about the
Soon.
online shopping experience? But just
I'm
that
coming
promo
over
codes, it's
soon.
haunting you. Well, thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes, thing of the past. Honey's the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best ones it finds to your cart.
I actually tried to get my Christmas shopping done a little bit early today.
Ooh.
And I bought something for my wife. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but I saved $15 on my Christmas present, guys.
You can
Damn.
save even more when you ask Honey to keep track of price drops on your holiday shopping list. If the price drops on anything
Nintendo
on your
Switch.
list, you'll instantly get an alert to let you know.
And if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll not only
Here,
be
I'll
doing
cover-
yourself a solid, whoever you're buying your presents for a
There we
solid,
go.
but also you'll be helping out the boys as well. So
Now
get
you're
PayPal
covered
Honey
again.
for free at joinhoney.com/trash taste. That's joinhoney.com/trash taste. This episode is sponsored by Box.
Why do
Ho,
they have
ho,
back to
ho,
back?
boys. The most wonderful time is upon us.
Skip.
The show. What else? What have we talked about recently? I remember. Did everybody speak about House of Dragon? I watched that. That was really
That
good.
was
I've
good.
started watching that.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
What
Watch
is that?
it. It's Okay.
Is it complicated?
No, it's prequel, but it's sort of connected to Game of Thrones, but it sort of is. It's like 300, 400 years before Game of Thrones.
Do I have to watch Game of Thrones?
No,
Okay.
not at all. Not at all.
Just making sure.
And
it's
it's
a
really
standalone.
good, and it's got Matt Smith, and he's really good in it. Matt Smith is great in it. He's fucking awesome.
Okay.
I love Matt
Yeah.
Smith. He's so good.
I think I'm like
that's a
Game of
3
Thro-
episodes.
House of the
in
Dragon
right
so
now.
good.
It's
I don't know how you could watch 3 episodes and be like, I'll come back to this.
it's okay.
I'm not gonna lie, that was me. I only watched 3 episodes and then I paused it to like binge later. I feel called out.
It's so good. It's so good.
Oh god.
God forbid we have other shit going on.
But no, like it's so good that it's like I would not be able to rest until I've continued watching everything that's
Right,
available.
right.
I mean, it reminds me of like early Game of Thrones. We're not gonna bring up this like can of worms again, right? Because
Oh yeah, God.
that's right.
Oh wait, because you didn't like early game. You didn't actually like good television. That was right. You want shit
it's
television.
it's not that I don't. Okay, I'm gonna bring this back up because I
Oh
remember
my
I remember when Charlie was talking about. Remember when we filmed the Charlie episode? And he was like, "Yeah, I think like anime fans are pretty chill. I think like film and TV fans are the most toxic." I was like, I don't know, Charlie. And then the fucking episode came out.
To be fair, your take was so colossally shit that I
It
think
was so
everyone across
bad.
the board filmed.
The thing is,
it was-
I don't
I
even
think
think.
I think even people who've never watched Game of Thrones are like,
I don't. It's
probably bad.
because I look back at it. I'm like, I still agree with that take because
Wait. What? Oh my god. Shit take. Shit take.
it's because I didn't even say. Okay, here's the thing that confuses me. Right, here's the thing that confuses me. I didn't even say that. I didn't even say that I thought the first like half of Game of Thrones was better. I just said I preferred like the latter half of Game of Thrones.
same thing.
I'm like, there's a big fucking difference. Okay. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Oh my
okay.
go on, explain yourself.
I will explain. I will explain myself. Okay.
Oh my
I will
God.
explain myself.
I'm getting ready.
I will.
Go on,
Okay.
go
Getting
on.
ready
Tell
for
me
that.
you're wrong.
Okay. So, I think I mentioned this briefly in a recent video I did, but to me, I value stuff more, like even if it's not perfectly executed, versus something that might be highly acclaimed, highly like very, very well executed, that doesn't appeal to me. The reason the latter half of the Game of Thrones appealed to me more than the early seasons of Game of Thrones is in the early seasons of Game of Thrones, great writing, great television, okay? But
Okay.
a lot of the stories in Game of Thrones, it wasn't like 5 stories that were interconnected. There were like 5 separate stories. So you had the stories you had the story with King's Landing, the story with Daenerys, the story up on the wall.
Yeah.
They were all really interesting stories, but they were all like their own kind of individual stories in that sense. And what really interests me and what I love seeing in what I value and what I love seeing is different elements kind of like colliding in together. So the thing I was waiting for in Game of Thrones was to see these separate entities, these separate elements start colliding in together, right?
Yeah.
And then I still really, really appreciated the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, but when I really, really started to get interested was, when Tyrion, got shipped off to Daenerys, and I was like, oh, okay, we're seeing one character interact with another character, and then elements start colliding together, and I found that interesting. And then, when I'm not going to say season 8 was fucking even close to it. It was shit. Okay, when I say I prefer the latter seasons, everything was season 8. Season 8 was shit.
Yeah.
But like season 6 and season 7, I would say they were a bit messy. They weren't well executed, but they had elements in them that I was waiting to see for Game of Thrones this entire time. And I can say
He's basically saying he enjoyed the Avengers, where all the Marvel movies just came together in the Avengers. And that's what he enjoys the most, even though the story is still shit.
that I think the first 4 seasons were better written. But I can also say that even though the latter seasons were more messily executed, had worse writing, I still see them as very, very entertaining television. I still see them. I think the reason people clown on the later seasons so much is because the first 4 seasons were so fucking good, right?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll explain this without spoiling.
I didn't like some parts of the first 4 seasons. Some of the battles were, especially the first season where the battle was cut out. It was a big epic battle, and they just skipped it entirely. It just made me sad. But they were on a budget, so I understand.
Anything and without going into too much detail. So the you mentioned that like they're all individual stories about because the way it works, Jerry, is that Game of Thrones will like be like, here's this scene where it's happening at this location,
right,
and then another scene in this location across the other side of the country.
Yeah,
and so it was like Gon said, it was building up to that stuff was kind of gradually. They were kind of intertwining.
Yeah.
And the first 3-4 seasons, there's stuff happening, and it tended to be quite insular, but there would be stuff that happened quite a lot that would have rippling effects. And I think the reason why people liked Game of Thrones so much was that if any other writer had written it would have. When something happened in Game of Thrones, it was very like slow burn and minute how it would ripple, but everything was into consideration. If somebody did or said something, it would have such a like really subtle effect, or every single like
There's
effect
no
and
unnecessary detail.
Yeah, there was every single interaction was so carefully considered.
Yeah.
And I what really pissed off a lot of fans is that after the like season 4, it kind of went to like, okay, these characters just fundamentally just changed. Like they just weren't writing them the same as they were in the first 4 seasons.
They ran out of
weren't
source
as
material.
intelligent. They started becoming more dumbed down.
and also like travel became really, really fast as well.
Yeah, so before
Fast travel
in
got
Game of Thrones,
enabled.
often if someone was traveling, it would genuinely take like maybe a season for someone to travel somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe a few episodes. And even then that might have been too fast, right? Like
Yeah.
it was all very subtle and very
Realistic in a weird way.
It was meant to be like a serious political drama where if you said something and pissed off the wrong person, maybe in a season or 2, when they go to somewhere else, it might have a ramification, right?
Yeah.
And every single thing was taken into consideration. All the character interactions were so perfect. And then in season 5, 6, 7, 8, it started getting dumber and dumber, and dumber. And like you mentioned, like there's a character called Tyrion who was typically quite smart, and he just becomes a fucking stupid idiot.
He's
in
so
the
dumb
past-
at the
in
end.
past, like 3 seasons at the end, he just becomes dumb and is the complete different character to what he was written as originally. So people were pissed off because all the characters got stupider. And none of the like the ramifications were happening. It was just kind of like, duh, big fight happened now. And then characters would suddenly have a lot more plot armor than before. And suddenly characters that in
Kind of
situations...
stooping down to the lowest common denominator.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
one of the things that Game of Thrones did really well, if you haven't seen it, is that when a character would be in a fight, they had written it so well that you genuinely didn't know who was going to live and die.
Yeah.
Like there was the plot armor was never transparent. It was never like apparent, sorry.
Yeah.
And you never felt like someone could 100% live just because they were this character.
Yeah.
Because the first season sets it up that, hey, characters are going to die right away. Like characters that you thought were the main person or characters you thought were very important to the story will die.
Yeah.
And towards the end, it was like, this is the main character. They will not die.
Yeah.
And no matter what situation we put them in, you can be pretty sure that then there's not going to be consequences. And I think, so it became less like a very, very thought out.
He's explaining this
written
very
TV
well.
show.
He
It
usually
kinda went
is
to a
very,
AAA Hollywood
very shit at explaining.
movie where we know the main guy wins at the end. And I think that was the problem.
Like it
is
went
that-
down to like a regular formula that everyone
Yeah,
knows.
because
Yeah.
even the writers, they said like publicly, they were like, "Hey, we want to make it so that some like a football player who doesn't care about fantasy can enjoy
Right.
it." And it was like, okay, so
No.
the writers just fully admit that they dumbed it down.
Yeah.
Like it just went dumb. And yes, those moments that everyone was waiting for, these big fights and these big like collidings of worlds and all of these like kind of rivalries coming out to play would have been fucking amazing if they were written correctly.
Oh, no.
But they weren't. But obviously they were still, it was still, as a fan who had probably watched 5 seasons, a part of you is still like, oh, this is still kind of cool. Like you're still like
Right.
this, the battles, you're like, it's kind of hype.
And do you think that happened because like the fan base got more like, I guess, more generalized because of the popularity of the
there's a
show?
few
or-
reasons. So-
There's a few reasons. One is that they kind of ran out of books to adapt. So
Yeah, and-
the books only
yeah.
went to about halfway. You could see such a big shift in the writing from when they just ran out of materials. Because I believe Joe R. Martin gave them the baseline of where the story
Yeah, he didn't help
was
write
going
any
to
of the
go,
episodes.
Right.
but not
Yeah.
like the nuances, right?
Yeah.
So I look at this latest season of Game of Thrones and I'm like, where these characters end up makes sense story wise. How they ended up there does not make
Make
sense,
no sense.
at all.
Yeah,
You know.
a lot of things were also mentioned and then never brought up again.
Yeah.
And also, they had requested, I can't remember, it was supposed to be 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it ended up being 8.
Yeah.
And,
So
and
they
you
rushed
can
it?
feel,
Yeah.
you feel that it's 8. Like,
Yeah.
but even with how bad the writing was, I don't know if it even would have still been good.
I remember it was like something about the directors getting a deal with Star Wars, so they just rushed it all in the last final season, season 8, and then the Star Wars deal got canceled, so they got fucked up.
By the end of it, because it was so shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it was shit. I think
was.
like okay.
Season 8 was hot garbage, dude.
Season 8 hot garbage. I'd say season 5 to 7.
It was 5 and 6
5
were
to 7 was
downhill.
like a solid 8 out of 10.
7 was not good. 7 was not good. I don't like 7 either. I think 5 is where you start to see the cracks. 6 is where it starts to get worrying. 7 is where you're like, oh, it's ruined. And then 8 is like, oh god. 8 was so bad. 8 was.
I enjoyed season 6 though. Well, mainly because of the Battle of the Bastards, but yeah, I can see what he's talking about.
Really bad.
8 was horrible.
Could you imagine that you've been with something for like 12, 10 years of your life, and then right at the end they're like, let's just fuck it all up. Let's make it shit. And I genuinely thought, I was like, I'm over Game of Thrones. I'm done. I don't care about this world anymore.
Yeah.
I do not care. And then House of Dragons started. It's so good, and it made me realize just how amazing like the world of Game of Thrones is. And I'm sure people watching this don't give a fuck about Game of Thrones, but genuinely the world is so interesting. I think it's one of, if not my favorite, like fantasy world.
It is. It is.
I think the way it's been built up is so realistic, and you could see some kind of parallels to the real world and how seriously politics is taken and played.
No, that's the reason I got invested in the world of Game of Thrones, and that's the reason I've really still enjoyed the later seasons. It's because you got to see different aspects of this world collide together, and I just, when you've watched enough things, you just come to realize I know what my tastes are. I can still appreciate good television, but I know what core elements appeal to me, and there are more core elements that appeal to me in the later seasons of Game of Thrones, even if it was more messily executed, and I've just come to value that more. And I feel like there are a lot of shows out there. There are a lot of, I mean, I fucking like, of course I would say this, I fucking like isekai, right?
Yeah.
But like,
I'm sorry.
but like, there are enough games, enough shows, enough movies that are out there that might not be perfectly executed, might not have the best execution, but I still, on a personal enjoyment level, still really, really like, even more so than maybe some critically acclaimed shows in that same genre. Right?
Yeah, because to me, like, if I were to use like an anime analogy, for me, as someone who's never seen Game of Thrones, it sounded like it started off as like, the political fantasy and, very nuanced type of heavily detailed world of something like Kingdom.
Yeah.
And then went to something like Fairy Tale.
Yeah. It went
where it's like plot armor, nothing makes sense, but the main guy wins, and there's lots of big fights.
It's just like, it's insane when you watch or you read about how, very subtle things have happened in the show. You're like, this is
Speaking of which, I need to catch up on Kingdom. I haven't read it in a couple of weeks.
insane. Like the level of detail and thought that's put into how all of these worlds and characters interact is just insane.
Yeah.
It's Kingdom to Fairy Tale.
It's genuinely like so impressive.
Game of Thrones turned into a shonen.
Yeah.
From the
I wonder if Connor actually started reading Kingdom yet.
sounds of it.
Yeah.
That's probably why he enjoyed it.
But hopefully he finishes the books. People are not holding.
I mean, like I would still have preferred the later seasons with all these elements combined to be with the same nuances of like that would be in the perfect world.
Right.
But I still got what I wanted, and I was entertained thoroughly. And you know, I was just thinking, is this really hotter than my bread take? You know, it's
Yes.
just-
Yeah.
is this really hotter than my
If you
bread
ask Game of
take?
Thrones fans, probably.
I'm just like, all I was trying to say is I have my own fucking preferences.
You have to understand, right? I think the Game of Thrones ending in final season was like one of the biggest betrayals of like TV. Like, to the fan
TV
base.
betrayal.
More than Game of Thrones. It's very on brand. man.
Yeah, right? Like it's literally on brand. Like, can you think of a TV show that burnt its fan base harder? Like I genuinely can't. Like I can't think of anything that is up to, was that hyped, was that big of a deal that fucked up that bad. Fairy Tale. No, Fairy Tale,
didn't have
they
that
fucking
hype.
still love it. And also,
I mean,
no one fucking cares about that.
I've seen plenty of shows go to shit.
But not on the scale that Game of Thrones did it, right? This was like a,
It did literally. It was like a day and night difference. It was like it went from everybody loves this shit to now everyone hates
in
it.
the Western world was talking about this shit. It was
that's
nonstop. And it also just goes to show clearly how impactful that was, that when they were able to greenlight so many spin-offs, that you know, even though everyone was like, Game of Thrones fucking sucks, that when they brought out this new prequel that they shoved way too much fucking money into, that the moment the first episode dropped, everyone was like, hype.
This
hype,
is what we want.
Hype. It's so good. Everyone get back on this. It's actually hype. It's actually good. And to be fair,
The thing is, House of the Dragon, George R. Martin actually finished the book series, so they ain't gonna run out of source material, and they ain't gonna fuck up if they do the TV series by the book.
the first season was fucking amazing. They only have like one book to work off of, and it's finished. The story's completely done.
Yeah.
But they're gonna
It was
make
only
like 3
one
or
book?
4 seasons from just one book, and it's insane. Like even the George R. R. Martin has said that some of the characters in the TV show portrayed better in the TV show than in his mind on the book.
Oh, wow.
He's like there's a character in particular that was done really well. And he said, like, oh, I wish I could go back and redo those pages now. I wish I could tear them out because it's so much better on TV.
Damn.
I know
It's
who he's talking about.
so good. Please, if you got burnt on Game of Thrones, give House of Dragon a shot. It's so worth your time. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite like first seasons of TV in a long time.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I will finish it. So
good.
I
so
will
fucking hype.
reserve my opinion. I'm sure everyone's raring to hear my opinion on House of Dragons. It's
Comes
Oh
back.
my
like,
God.
It's me.
I'm gonna be like, I am gonna kill you, Gon.
If they added some more plot armor, then I would have liked it.
yeah, I mean, it's good. Like I said, I always with certain TV shows, I can always appreciate good TV, but sometimes I'm just waiting for something to interest me, and I don't always know what that is. Sometimes it's a certain like plot element, sometimes it's like the cinematography or the way it's like filmed or something like that. Yeah, it's
I get it. There
Like-
are some shows where it's just like I can't explain why I like this. Like I know it sucks.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
what I just love. Like I don't know, Love Island. You know, like any. I'm using that as an example. I don't like Love Island.
Actually, no, I don't like it.
Oh my god,
Love is Blind,
Island.
for example, right? Like I fucking love that show. I know that show's trash. It's just it's fucking real.
I want to watch Love is Blind Japanese, the Japan one, because of Joey saying how it's like a romance anime. But I seen the like American version, and oh my god,
Reality TV, right? But and I can't explain why it's good. I just can't stop watching it.
it's trash TV.
You know, it's like any isekai show, right? It's like you can't explain why it's good. You probably know it sucks, but you're gonna keep watching it.
has there ever been a show that you know is like flawed, not like something that's like obviously trash TV, but you know it's like flawed, not executed perfectly, but there's not been another show like it, and you just like, you know what, I'm gonna look over it. You know, I still enjoy it. Because like for me, I recently just made a video about it. It was Recreators, which is it's got like such a unique idea in terms of just like, you know,
I
what if-
realized when I watched the video, I watched it, by the way.
oh, you watched it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about it.
Yeah, because one thing I've noticed is that you either like that kind of show, you either think it's just okay, but everyone who likes that show really, really, really fucking likes that show.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people, and that's just because it was like it wasn't like the best executed, but it just had such an interesting, unique idea that you don't see anywhere else. That you were just like, okay, you know, maybe I don't really give a shit. I really enjoyed it.
I feel it was
because there's
definitely
nothing
like
else
it was definitely like a polarizing show when it was airing, because I
Yeah.
remember it's like you either like fucking love this show or you
Yeah.
are like, eh.
I do remember when it aired.
good.
I remember the conversation surrounding it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
watched it, and I think I only watched 4 or 5 episodes, and I stopped because there
Yeah.
was too much talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the pace bogged down a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I think that's why a lot of that's why the indie game scene has like grown so much. Whereas it's like it's these game developers who, instead of trying to compete against the AAA games, doing like the as much as I love God of War, it does very much go with the AAA game formula of
Well, at least it deserves the AAA
yeah,
title.
it
Yeah.
deserves the AAA game title, and like a lot of other AAA games. But I feel like the indie game scene has grown so much because you have a lot of these developers who are just like, I really like this one idea, and I don't see any other game doing just this one idea and doing it really, really
Jump
well.
King.
Yeah.
Huh?
Jump King.
Jump King.
Jump! Oh my god. No.
Is it name a
Well,
better
it's
jump?
good, but I don't
I'll
want to
wait.
play it.
I'll wait.
I haven't played it yet.
Mario.
No, not as good.
Yeah, I
My
guess,
man's invented jumping in
I
gaming.
guess games like Jump King, where you take this really core idea
Yeah.
and focus on nothing else but that core idea. Is it going to appeal to the masses? No, but the people who like it, they really like it, you know. And I feel
a
like
lot of the best games that came out, in the past 5-10 years, a lot of them have been indie games.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
we
yeah.
talk about like Undertale when that was out, right? That was insane. That was everywhere.
Still haven't played
Still gotta play
Undertale.
It's so good.
It's good.
Memes aside, Megalovania and Sans
Okay,
memes aside,
I don't give a
it's
fuck.
actually
Okay,
hype.
okay. Here's
Wait.
Megalovania and Sans
Okay,
memes aside.
What the fuck? Is this true? Is this true? Megalovania and sex meme.
I don't give a
It's
fuck. Okay,
actually hype.
I don't give a fuck. Megalovania is probably one of the best fucking pieces of music in a video game I've
pretty
heard
good.
in a long
It's
time.
pretty fucking
I know
good.
the memes exist, but every time I hear it, I'm like, I play that shit at the gym when I'm working. I'm just like, this is fucking hype as fuck.
That's
It's
too
such a
hype for the gym.
Yeah.
No, it gets me pumped up. I'm like, I gotta defeat Sans.
Go on, what are you going to ask
Yeah,
about
what were
it?
you gonna say?
Will I still enjoy it?
Yes.
Despite the fact that I've been exposed to so much of it.
I think
on,
so,
like, the
yeah.
internet and
I think-
stuff like that.
No matter how you get exposed to it, I think ultimately the experience you have with it is definitely going to be different from how
Yeah.
it is.
I feel it's a very personal game where, like, because again, I feel the story is very dependent on how you perceive it and how you want to go about it, because it has the multiple endings and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, I feel it's a really good game to just kind of like sit down and play with yourself and really just like get fully immersed in it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I don't know, I tried streaming it once and I'm like, I couldn't really get into it because there's just like too many outside
Just play it on
forces
your
and
own
just like,
time.
I would say it's a game to just like play on your own terms.
Yeah.
Also, the music and story is amazing because Toby Fox is.
Yeah, the story's really good. I mean, I cared about it. So
Yeah.
that's
Oh my
saying
god.
something.
Connor's
That's,
carrying a
that's
story.
tough to get me to be like, oh, I'm sad.
Is it a hot take to say that I think Toby Fox is a better musician than he's a storyteller?
I don't know. I'm not sure what other music he's done. He did some music for Pokemon.
He did
some
a
other
lot
stuff
of
too,
pieces
right?
for the new Pokemon.
Well, he's very
game.
talented either way.
No, he's super talented.
This is like no matter which one he's better at, he's still
Yeah.
better than me at everything. You know what I mean?
That is true.
He's better
That
than
is
everyone
true.
at everything.
He is
Yeah.
true. That is true.
Some people got it all.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Talking about like very niche games that would only appeal to you. There's been a game series that I've been thinking about getting into. It's a very niche JRPG series.
Oh God.
Something like this you would fucking hate, Connor. But I don't even know if I have the heart to commit to this. Right?
What is it?
Have you ever heard of like the Trails of Atlia series or Trails of?
Oh
Atlia?
my
yes, I
god.
have heard of it.
Okay, so
I've never played them though.
so I've been like,
I don't
for the
even know
past
how to
like
start
2
that.
months, I've been trying to like psych myself up to see if
look this up.
it's worth getting into. So let me
Sounds so familiar.
okay let me break this down to you. Okay, so I hear like bits and pieces of this game series, right? And then
I'm
the
never gonna
first thing
start
I
this series.
search up is how to get into the Trail series on YouTube. And I swear to God, one of the top videos, the video was how to get into the Trail series. 1 hour and 50 minutes long.
Bro, what the
and I was like, oh boy. And I was
Oh shit.
games like Jump King, where you take this really core idea.
Yeah.
And I was like, surely there's a shorter video than 1 hour and 50. Search up is how to get into the Trail series on
Okay, I should
YouTube.
not have pressed the
And I swear to
expression
God,
buttons.
one of the top videos, the video was how to get into the Trail series. 1 hour and 50 minutes long.
Okay, no more expression change.
Bro, what the
and I was like,
No.
oh boy. And I was
Mm.
like, surely there's a shorter video than 1 hour and 50 minutes. The shortest video I could find was a 20-minute explanation. That's the shortest.
Oh my God.
That's the shortest. So this is like setting up the stage for the type of game series that this game
sounds
series
awful.
is.
Okay.
But-
yes. I have
Yeah.
seen this before.
Yeah.
That's the Kiseki series.
Yeah. So
I've
it's-
never gotten into them though because I've heard it's it's got such a high benchmark to like get into.
Yes. So before even deciding, okay, so I'll
Even
explain
worse
this to
than
you, Joe,
Fate.
because I've done research just to see if I want to get into this game. Okay, I haven't even just played the game. I've watched these full videos just to see if I wanted to play this game.
Right.
Because it's a game series that has run on for about 15 years or something now, right?
Oh
It's
my
got
god,
11
15
games.
years.
And what?
Wait. PS2, PS3, PS4, and I don't think they have a PS5 version. But oh my god.
What I find really, really interesting and why I'm like, ooh, should I commit to this game, is that every game is following on from one giant overarching story. So it's a game where you have, according to a lot of the people that play, it's got one of the best examples of world building in gaming, period. It's like the One Piece
If
of
I had
video
11
games.
games, I'm sure I could fucking make a big world.
Yeah. So it's like it takes place in this one. All 11 games takes place in this one kind of like big universe, right? And each game, it's similar to, I guess, something like Game of Thrones, right? Where, you have individual story arcs in different countries, different areas of this world that slowly interconnect and mingle and start to like, characters from previous games start to like have a proper big effect on characters, on story arcs in like a different country. And then they slowly start to mingle in and collide together. And I'm like, fuck, that sounds like
season 6 of Game of Thrones.
that sounds like everything I want in a fucking game. That sounds like everything I want in a video game series.
11 games?
It sounds like
And it's still ongoing
God,
as well.
I'm never going to fucking see you.
it kind of sounds like the Dune of video games, where
Kind
it's
of.
like different planets and like the planets interact with one another,
Yeah.
but it's all based in this one,
And it's all based on this
galaxy
one.
system.
And like one of the biggest things I've heard is that it's not like different games cameo into each other. It's not like
Right.
one person cameos into this different game. It's like games have a proper impact on what happens.
I'm getting stressed out just hearing
Yeah,
this.
like the story arcs of one game have a proper impact to what happens in a different country, different country story arc, and I'm like, holy shit!
Gan, I'm about to finish the Pokemon game. If you're committed,
No!
I'd be down. I'd be down to try and combat this beast
You're
with
going
you.
to tank your career.
I'm gonna-
Don't do this.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this raid fight if you are.
Yeah,
dude.
it's honestly like I remember like reading something about it. I was like, this sounds something like I could be interested in. And the more I researched, the more I'm like, fuck, this seems like a game that I would really enjoy. But
Yeah.
I can't. 11 games. Maybe I'll just watch one other video. Maybe I'll watch
Let me
one
watch
other hour too.
let me watch one more hour and 30-minute video.
So the thing is imagine this RPG where the NPCs that you meet, you can actually play them in the later games. So in total,
So shit. Half of that.
Sounds amazing.
I
That
don't-
sounds
Why
amazing.
the fuck would I care about playing as an NPC?
at the end of the games, you have like 30 plus characters.
That just means every character matters and every character.
Yes!
Oh, that sounds like
Okay, because I've
so
seen
good.
I've seen this first game, Trails in the Sky.
Yeah.
I think I had a friend who had this on like Windows, I think.
Just give me
And
the
he was
order.
like,
Just give me the
'cause
order.
I specifically remember. I remember the bar of entry being so high for this game series.
Yeah.
Because my friend was like, he was playing this game, and I'm like, oh, that's a really cool game. What is it? And he's like, you shouldn't know. So
Okay,
you
question.
don't need to.
You don't wanna
need
know.
to. You don't want to know.
Should every character matter? I disagree. I don't think every character should matter.
I mean,
I don't know. It depends. If it's
In a story, you will have main characters. They will be ones who impact
Of
that
course.
story more.
but
and I think
it's-
it's okay to have NPCs and characters that don't really do much.
No, but I think it's a cool concept where you can be NPCs in someone else's story, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you can't have your own story. Which just sounds like it's
That sounds cool.
because I've read the Dune books.
Oh
and
my
it's
God.
exactly the same.
See, okay,
Where it's like the
I mean,
NPCs in this first book are now the main characters in this latter book, and it makes sense.
I like the Dune world. I just think that
Yeah.
when you just the way you're describing it to me, it sounds awful. Because at least Dune is like, hey, here's a nice like sandwich. have a little bite of this sandwich. And then it's fucking ginormous, and you don't realize how big the sandwich is. You get a bite, and you're like, well, that tastes pretty good, actually. I think I'll have another
Does
bite.
this not sound like that too?
No, this sounds like, hey.
That's only because you know how many. That's only because people know how many games are in this series.
I know how much Dune there is, but also like I just was like, oh fuck it, I'll watch the movie. It seems good. You know, that's a palatable way to.
Well, then I'll do this out. We'll be like, oh, play this first game, see if it's good.
Yeah.
And if it's good,
you had to watch an hour video just to play the game. What are you talking about? That's not accessible.
wait, let me see how long it takes on average to beat the first game.
This is too much. This is too much.
For me, it was mostly just.
It's gotta be 20 hours.
Tell me you don't want 100% other games, but you're like, I'll get into this 500-hour game collection.
Yes.
What's wrong with you?
Okay, like I said, if I know that there's a payoff, if I know that there
cannot be a payoff worth 500 hours.
If there's
Oh my God,
something
Joey's
that
searching intently.
I really like and really appeals to me, I will be willing to grind through heaven and hell to fucking get to that.
According to how long to beat, main story 40 hours. Easy.
Oh,
What
easy.
the
For one game?
What the fuck? That 40
But you care
hours.
about the NPCs?
Yeah. It says
Oh my
completionist
God.
is 65, which is not too bad.
Oh my
Too bad.
god.
That's a full-time job for a week.
Dude, completionist for like Final Fantasy X is like 120 hours.
I think
and I've done that before, so
I
it's
think
fine.
game devs on JRPGs, like, because I used to care about gamer score. Why? I don't know why.
What, like Pac-Man and shit?
Gamer score.
Xbox gamer score.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
You told us.
Because I know
about
that sometimes you like play against someone in COD, right? And
Yeah.
you want to shit talk them, and then you open up that profile, like, oh, he's only got 200 gamer score. Fucking loser.
Yeah.
They'd open up my profile, it'd be like 90,000 gamer score, and they'd be like, oh shit, I want to mess with this guy.
Well, no, I want to be the same way. If I interact with another JRPG player, they'll be like, oh, you're a JRPG fan? What have you played? And then I'll be like, finish the entire Trail series. I'll be like,
Oh.
we got a Giga Chat here, boys.
I like the quantifiable number, and so I used to just play games a lot, and I would just play some games that were bad.
But there is a quantifiable number. 11 games.
Is it like a score that you can show to other people and people see, right?
Oh, okay,
so that's
yeah.
what I enjoyed. But I would play games I didn't even like just to get the stupid score. I would like buy games that were rated easy online to get 1,000 like
Right.
full
Yeah.
gamer score, because you could only get 1,000 gamer score on every game, and
Okay.
the DLC you could add more.
You were gaming the games. You
I
literally
did-
turned a game.
Gamifying the
you
games
literally
you're
turned
playing.
playing games into a game.
I don't know what
Yeah.
happened. There was like 3 years where I was obsessed with this thing where I was like, I just care about getting this number go up.
I get that.
So I would play like I bought like Lost the game.
Yeah.
Lost the TV series.
Yeah.
I bought that game because it was like $5.
I feel like this is
just
the
to get
third
1,000
time you
gamer
mentioned
because
it.
it was really quick to get 1,000 gamer score. And
Right.
then, I also then, some of my friends want a gamer score. And I was like, well, I'll do it for you. If you give me 2,100 Microsoft points, I'll get you like 5,000 gamer score. And I would just do it in a day because I had like loads of
Were you
games.
hustling gamer scores?
Yeah,
Oh my
I would,
God.
if someone wanted gamer score, because I wanted points. So I would kind of I would figure out ways through gaming. I was like, how can I use my talent
You
gaming?
min-maxing
to get
games
Microsoft?
or gamer
My
points.
talent gaming.
I'm good at
So what are your talents?
I'm really good at
game.
this. I'm really good and addicted to this gaming thing. Can I get money from it, or can I get some way to get more games from it? So I would like my friends would want some people to do it, and then I would message people. I'm like, hey, if you want gamer score, do it. No, I sounded sketchy as fuck, but I actually did it. Like if they gave me the points, I would log in their account and I would just play these games.
Hey, kid, you want any gamer scores?
But then if they wanted me to do specific games, I'd be like, that's a toughie, dude. I'm gonna need more. and then I realized, you can just take the internet out of your Xbox, get a USB, and like download a file, and it will just fucking do it for you. And
What the
then I
fuck?
felt really dumb that I was spending like a day or two.
Oh my god,
doing
that's
that.
cheating.
Oh my
But
Hacks.
yeah, no, I was obsessed with it. I would buy games for it. I would do achievements that were stupidly hard. Spend hours, like days, like Halo. I would spend days getting all the Halo achievements.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
And then I would get infuriated when I would buy a game that I thought was good, and they would have impossible achievements in it. And you know whose ones
JRPGs.
were always the worst? JRPGs.
I knew it.
always the worst.
The 100% completions.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, these stupid fucking games would be like, get every single item in the game.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you're psychopaths. Like you willingly chose this achievement to fuck me.
I did that for the new 7R though.
That's stupid.
I think the reason I just never 100% games was because I did it once with Tails, and then I was like, never again.
You 100% at a Tails game?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I loved it. That, to be fair,
That's like 200 hours.
you know, you remember back in the day when you only had like that one game to play until next Christmas?
Sure.
Like for me, that was Tails. That was when I had time, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I have no other video games.
That was Pokemon
I used
Sapphire
to
for
think
me.
that like having to go somewhere for like one day was like made me a busy man, and then I could spend the rest of the days playing video games. I was like, damn, that one day thing that crushed me. Now I'm like, bro, I'll
6
kill.
days of games now.
Now I'm like, I will kill for 1 hour. Where I
Yeah,
will do anything. I will literally do anything for an
I
hour.
wish I had more.
Yeah, it's really weird
Hours just to
with
play
video
games.
because I can never play for like 1 or 2 hour stints. It always if I have a video game I like, I need to play for at least like 4 hours or
Oh
something.
man, being able to enjoy a game for like 20 minutes and then just do something else is hype.
Bro, it takes me 20 minutes just to get like invested into like the game.
Well, that's why
again.
Overwatch and games like that are pretty fun because you can just do like 2 games, 30 minutes, go back to whatever you're doing. Pretty nice.
That's why I just play Mahjong.
No, I mean, it's the same
That's
thing,
basically
right?
that.
It's like you can get a quick, like
I can get a
wanna
quick
just-
game out of it.
You want to reset your brain. You want to like kind of
Yeah.
just take your mind off what the work is for like 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and maybe you don't want to take a
Then
break.
like one game turns into like 2 games. And you're
Okay,
like,
I'm pretty good at
And then at that point, I'm just like, well, I'm 5 games of Mahjong deep. I might as well
have
just started a
self-control. I have
JRPG.
self-control.
bro, like going on tour with Connor, our entire
Hold on, no, that's different. That is different because
our entire
Call them out.
Our
That is
entire
different.
schedule revolved around whether Connor had started a game of TFT or not. We would be like, yo, Connor, rehearsals in 5 minutes. And Connor's like, but I just started a game. I just started a game of TFT, guys.
I never played near our rehearsal time. That's
That's a fucking lie.
That's a
You know
lie.
it, Connor.
no. At most, I would push it back 5 minutes. That's not true. I would play a lot of TFT because we didn't really have anything to do a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll just game. But if, in normal work, it's like I will work from like 9 to 10 non-stop, and then I'll have to take a break at some point and play some games because otherwise my brain will be like,
Wait, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.?
10 p.m.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, I'll work that a solid
I will
hour,
do- I will
and then
do
it's
1
2
hour
hours of
of work.
TFT.
Yeah. I don't know. I normally have to like stream, and then I'll be like, all right, now I have to do real work.
Yeah,
Stream doesn't
now I
count.
gotta answer emails.
I had too much fun. I gotta feel like I didn't have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, speak for yourself. Stream is like pure gamer right here. Stream has definitely worked for me.
Yeah, streamers
Yeah.
work for me.
I don't know, I just like it. It's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I
It
was,
depends on the game for me.
Gaming.
I was thinking like, should I stream God of War? And I was just like, no, because I wanted to just be like immersed in the game and just say
You're like,
nothing.
damn, this story's really good. Think of the 5 subs.
Yeah.
Giant cock
The
one.
only way that we'll be able to get through the Trail series is if we stream all the way.
That's true. That is
Like,
true.
realistically.
So that's the thing, right? If there's a game that is too long, it makes no sense to play it off stream because it's a big time sink. So you should play it.
But then
on
there's no point doing it on stream either because then
Why?
viewers will just fall off.
stream.
Yeah.
True. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because I tried to do that with Yakuza 7, and like after
People
11
do not-
streams,
people do not care.
people just don't care. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll just finish this game
I
off
think it
stream.
depends on the game because, like, you know, like,
Pokemon, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you can just tune in whenever. You immediately know what the fuck's happening. There's no concrete story. You can just immediately be like, oh, you're trying to catch some Pokemon? Cool, I'll join in. But like, 10 streams into Yakuza 7, where it's like the story is
You have no
pretty
idea
much
what the
fleshed
fuck's
out at
going
that
on.
point.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know what the fuck is happening, therefore I'm not going to stay.
I think enough people need to have played a game or has to have like a really hardcore fan base,
Yeah.
like, Final Fantasy Online or,
Yeah.
Genshin even, it's
Genshin streamer.
Genshin.
You because
What the Genshin? It's the. You heard of Genshin? You heard of Genshin? Now you get Genshin Impact. Okay, that's a dumb joke.
That's why Genshin's such an easy
because
game
you
to
become
stream.
that streamer.
Yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
streamer that plays that game.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
It's such an investment, and that anyone who would want to watch would also be interested in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's also games that
Hey,
interest
man.
me as well. So
Are you- who's going to be the world's first trail streamer?
Oh my
There's got to
god.
be one out there, right?
No one cares. Don't do that. Do not do that.
because like Trails, I'm like this. I see something like Trails, and I'm just like, this will never, ever be popular. But holy shit,
Yeah.
it like it just speaks to me.
There's
you know?
5 Japanese dudes somewhere in the world who are like the most hardcore Trails fans who are just like, please give it to me.
The more I get into streaming, the more I want to do non-game streams. Like the more I want to do, like I want to go
Right.
fishing. That's the OG game.
Yeah.
Can I eat today? Like I feel like
I wanna play the analog
Like I'm
games.
more interested in streaming like classical stupid shit, like
Yeah.
fishing or like
Yeah.
outdoor stuff that I think is like kind of games or like games before games.
Yeah.
Or, activities. I'm like
Games that don't involve videos.
yeah. I don't know why. Like, I
Gamers
want-
discovers grass.
Yeah,
discovers
literally.
grass.
Gamers be like, wait, games existed before
Yeah.
games? Hey,
You're like, yo, the graphics of this fishing game is really wait. This
Whoa.
is just fishing. How do
Yeah,
you
I
tell-
don't know. I don't know why. The more I'm like, real life stuff seems more fun. and interesting. I don't know why.
Real life stuff is great, but when are they going to patch this mechanic, man?
Yeah.
Just like-
I can't believe fishing
Yo,
copied
the-
off that fishing
time
game, dude.
the time the fish is too long. They need
yeah,
to
like the
reduce
fish.
it.
The
Yeah.
fish is like too much RNG, man.
Yeah.
Like when this is just like gacha, but like fucking.
Yeah, so I've actually done fishing a few times in Japan now.
All right.
I did the fishing with Maylene in the ocean.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
nice.
That was fucking hard mode fishing.
That was
shit was hard.
much harder than lake fishing.
Lake fishing and river fishing is nice.
I like
Yeah.
it. That's like the perfect balance.
Yeah, you get fishes at a good pace.
Yeah.
And
And it's much more relaxing as well.
Yeah,
I
you
think.
can sit down on the
Yeah.
boat. You're like fucking. Oh god,
Damn.
am I gonna get a fish? I don't know for like 4 hours, and then you
Yeah.
don't get any fish because
Yeah.
you're
And
like
you just seasick and wet.
it's just shit.
Yeah.
And then you can't like you want to go to the toilet. You have to go in this shitty little boat. Like everything about
I just want
boat
to piss
fishing
off the edge of
sucked.
the boat, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on this fishing thing with Maylene, and it was fun. It was just too long. It was like 8 hours on the water, and I was like,
'cause
I
when-
would done it 3 hours, man.
Yeah, because I went like lake fishing again after I went like sea fishing with Maylin, and I just realized, damn, lake fishing is just it. It's just so much more chill. And I'm like, I
It's
go
about the
I like
sea
lake
conversation.
fishing.
It's about the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, and I go sea fishing, and I was like, "Oh, this is why fishing is a job," because it's hard, it's hard work.
It's shit.
It's
I'm wet. I'm soaking, and I'd be there for hours, right? And I would be staring at these like old Japanese men who were like nuts at it, and I was
Yeah.
literally copying everything they were doing. I thought I was.
Yo,
Clearly,
they had the strat.
clearly
you know?
I wasn't doing it because like I swear to God, I would like literally 1-for-1 mimic exactly what he was doing, and I could not get a fish to save my life. I got like 2 fish total. These dudes, bro, it was
Yeah,
like.
but that's like being like, oh, I'm gonna play Dark Souls and
No,
watch this Dark Souls speedrunner and just do exactly what they do.
No, I recognize that. Like, I'm definitely not. These dudes have been doing it their whole life,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And the thing that I liked about like in sea fishing was really fucking hard because the technique matters a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas in a lake, you're like, plop.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
that
fun.
it?
You can chat. You can chill out. You
Yeah.
want to drink a beer.
Because sea fishing, you got to like pull it,
You
keep pulling it
constantly
back and
pulling
forth,
it,
right?
yeah.
So make the lure
These,
move.
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
dudes are nuts, dude.
Yeah.
These Japanese men. I mean, it's in the blood, man.
Yeah,
it's,
man.
it
it's
is in the blood.
generational.
Doing it for
This
generations,
man
yeah.
throws it in 2 seconds. Got like 5 on one hook. I'm like, what the fuck is happening, man? And then he's just like, out of pity, he's like, here's a fish. Genuinely, out of pity, out of pity, he's like, bro, I've caught too many. I'm like, hey, you want one?
Yeah, sea fishing was just frustrating for me because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? I actually have no idea
Yeah,
what
it was
I'm
driving
doing
me
wrong.
insane.
Yeah.
And Mayleen's been a ton, and Maylene wasn't getting any. I'm like,
Right.
don't you do this often? Shouldn't you be getting more fish?
Yeah, because I did exactly the same way where there were some Japanese men like catching like literally a bucket full of fish.
Yeah.
I like mimic everything they're doing the right way. Nothing.
Yeah,
I throw it
they're
in,
nuts.
nothing.
They're nuts.
Throw it in, nothing.
It's because they had the fucking like cracked fishing pole. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I had the school sports hall fishing pole. They're
Yeah.
like, we got a pole. We put a line on the end.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You had to stick with a piece of string.
They
attached to it.
felt so bad for us that when we docked and went back in, because you pay like $15 to go out and fish,
Yeah.
and you're allowed to catch as many fish as you want. So
Yeah.
there's some
Did
quota.
they give you free fish as well?
The dude
They
was
give-
like, that's it? Yo, hold on. We caught like a ton the other day. Yo, here's a bag. He doesn't
Wow.
I guess he just felt bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing
But it's
happened to
also,
us as well.
but like I feel them doing that is like backhanded because like the gamer in you is like, no, I can do better.
I mean, it's not that I was
Don't
frustrated.
pity me.
So just to clarify, I'm not frustrated because I didn't get enough fish.
Yeah.
I'm frustrated because I hated the whole
Experience.
vibe of it and how long you are dedicated
raid
to
battle.
it.
Yeah.
And you dock and then you drive out on the
No
boat
good
for like an
vibes.
hour.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're just the sun, because it was in like August, so the sun is destroying you as
Yeah.
well. And you're like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, because unlike lake fishing, sea fishing is a commitment. You can't just be like, oh, just dock somewhere. Let's just chill out, or somewhere. Go.
Yeah.
You know, just go.
You
to
can't
that
pull the
port and,
camping chairs out and put the beer in.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly.
You can't do
exactly.
that.
It's a commitment, and unfortunately, the sea is the sea. And if you need a place to rest, it's still rocking a lot because it's the sea, and it's a lot more intense than lake fishing. I was actually like sweating at a point doing sea fishing because it's
a workout.
It's so much more intense because you're constantly having to do something. It's not a passive activity; it's an active activity.
Yeah.
But you get like bigger fish for it. That's the trade off.
Sometimes.
Or if you can catch it.
Sometimes if you can catch it.
Yeah.
The little fish are fine too. They taste good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with
they're fine.
Good.
Yeah, I want the 5 stars though, man. I'm waiting for my first
You want
5
the big
star,
ones.
man.
Yeah, but catching big fish is way harder than getting little fish. Like a lot more difficult.
Yeah, I know. But then
We're not
there's-
capable of that, guy. we got to stay in our lane.
20 years too late.
But I just want to know what that feels like. I want to know. I want to know.
I want to get that
Chasing a
SSR.
high,
dude.
man.
We
Chasing a
have to
high.
like pull the rod. Yeah, us mere mortals. We haven't been fishing for like 20 years. We don't get to do that.
No.
I don't know. There's other sports I really want to do as well. I want to do more sports, essentially. Is what I
I'm
kinda
the
wanna do.
same.
Yeah.
Just want to do more kayaking. I want to do a lot more of that. I want to surf as well. At
I
some
went
point.
I went surfing with Felix the other day.
Oh,
and that
how was it? Yeah.
intense. Like
It is.
It's a good workout.
It's an incredible workout, but it just made me realize how unfit I actually am.
Oh yeah.
Cause-
Same here.
I could have told you.
Yeah. Oh, no. I knew. No, I knew.
Roasted.
But like, it just reaffirmed my suspicions,
Yeah.
right? Because it's
Yeah.
like, I was probably out there for maybe 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I was just fucking destroyed. Like, because it's the part that it's the paddling out that just
Yeah.
takes all the energy out
No,
of you.
no, no.
And maybe it's because like I saw some people, saying like, oh, it's because you were in like cold waters and that just saps the energy out of you more than like
Yeah.
summer warm waters and stuff like
true.
that. But I think that's only up to a certain extent. Like, you need to be at a certain level of fitness.
Guys, you guys
but
are-
that's actually
you guys are on
matter.
copium.
Yeah, that's copium. It's like,
Yeah.
but no, it was really fun. Like, even if I probably maybe caught one wave and I didn't even stand up for it, obviously. But like, even just like catching that one wave while on your stomach,
It does seem hard.
it's hard. It is
Yeah.
very hard, but it's super fucking fun. And like, yeah, I definitely want to go back.
Yeah. So
That's
I
good.
remember trying surfing for the first time as well. It's so much fucking fun. But like you said, you spend most of your energy not actually doing surfing. It's actually like
Paddling out.
It's like getting out because you have to like go against the waves.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how much energy that takes until you realize you spend all this energy to maybe like to get one chance to catch like a wave, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't catch it, then you fucked up and you got to paddle out all over again,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of waiting as well.
It's a lot of waiting,
Especially if like
obviously.
the waves are kind of mediocre, like it was when we went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of like, oh, is it hitting? No.
Yeah.
Oh, is it hitting? No. And you're just sitting in the water for maybe 30 minutes,
Yeah.
freezing your ass off, right? Because
Yeah.
you're not moving at all. And then the one burst of energy you have to use to catch that wave
Yeah.
that you might not even actually catch,
Yeah.
you just get way close to the shore and you go, well, fuck, now I got to paddle back out again.
Oh my God.
And use up all this energy
It's
of
like-
not surfing.
It's
you
like
know?
with skiing or snowboarding, it's fucking easy because like the fucking ski lift does all the work for you to get up to the plate.
It's like if you went skiing, except the ski lift wasn't working, and you had to walk up
Yeah,
the
you have to
mountain
walk up the
every
mountain,
time.
Hey.
and then you have to use all this energy for like a tenth of the time to go down.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
well, guess I got to go all the way again.
Where's the ski lift for surfing, man? That's what we need. Just like pick me up, drop me off, and put me in the ocean.
But also, I don't know why my streamer brain. I'm like, I wonder what outdoor sports that are cool that would work for streaming. Like, okay, surfing doesn't work.
No,
There's
surfing
There's
doesn't
water.
work.
If,
Yeah.
if you
water,
are getting wet
yeah.
or submerged, it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
anything like that, done. Kayaking could work, but if you go too far out to the ocean, there's no signal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to kayak around somewhere, maybe in a river.
Skiing and snowboarding, maybe?
See, okay, I thought about this. I thought skiing or snowboarding could work, and technically it's possible. But I wondered, would it look shit on camera? Because it's literally just white. It's just white, and then you're going fast down. So there's like opportunities to talk and stuff. But I'm like, I don't know if it could be interesting.
You would also need, I guess, maybe like a wide lens to, kind of capture you and the rest of the thing. Because
Well,
if it's just like,
the camera I have is very wide.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
really wide.
I mean, it
lens.
might work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it's
I'm
also
good
like,
views,
is there
but try
like,
it.
but like some mountains I know don't have a great signal either.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
depends.
It depends.
Depends on the mountain.
Mm.
Depends on the
Yeah.
mountain. I don't know. I just want to do more weird outdoor stuff.
No, I get
And also,
you.
I want to do more sports.
Do rock
outdoors, but
climbing.
it's hard to convince anyone. I feel like most-
I'm down.
okay, good.
Yeah.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah.
I'll be
No,
like,
because, like-
extreme mountain climber.
Because I went surfing with Felix, and then the week after we went to driving
Yeah.
range.
Oh,
to
yeah.
like just play a
Oh,
little
yeah,
bit of
no,
golf, and it's
driving
like,
range is
and it's,
chill.
and it's fun
Yeah.
as fuck. It's like, oh, I actually kind of missed doing this during the pandemic because
Yeah.
I just got so fucking lazy because we couldn't go outside, couldn't move our body because no one else was
Yeah,
outside.
yeah.
All the places were closed, but now everything else is open, and people are like, yeah, I kind of want to get back into shape, or like I kind of want to move my
Yeah,
body. I'm
yeah.
like, well, let's fucking go.
Move my body.
Move my body.
I can move my body when I'm playing
I
God
like-
of War. My thumbs
We're
are
now
working
in, and
just
still not that
right.
much of a hot take
I
yet.
like trips that are like focused around doing an activity, right? Where you
yeah.
like maybe go for 2 days to like kayak somewhere,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
or to surf or something. I like that because I feel like okay, well, it's a holiday, but also you get to relax, you get to do some exercise. It's like you feel like get some endorphins.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm down,
Problem is a
man.
lot of those sports that require they're like expensive, or you need equipment, or someone who's good to teach you, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
A lot of those sports require knowledge.
Entry points
Well,
quite
it's
high.
Yeah.
like it's the point of entry, right? Where
Yeah.
that's part of the reason I never went skiing or snowboarding, just because
You need someone who can help you.
yeah,
and tell
the
you.
barrier of entry was so high, and
Yeah.
no one in my family ever skied or snowboarded when
Yeah,
I was
it's true,
younger. So
it's
I was
true.
just like, well, I guess I'm
never going.
Guess I'm never going.
Yeah, that's
No, I
true.
get
Actually,
that.
it for sure helps.
Yeah.
I wondered. There's definitely a scene for very odd extreme sports. I know there's like a scene for actually hunting in Japan.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can
Like with live animals, or just like
Yeah,
the
hunting.
clay pigeons?
live animals.
Oh, really?
You can do it in Japan.
Wow.
For some reason I stumbled across something and I was reading about it. It's quite interesting. It seemed like it's a very long process to get a gun in Japan.
Yeah, it is.
But it can be done, and you can hunt in Japan. Didn't
Wow.
know there was a scene for hunting in Japan.
Didn't
Apparently
think
there
so
is.
either.
Yeah.
I thought everything was fucking protected.
No. There's certain animals that you can hunt.
Oh.
Certain birds. Didn't know that. Fun fact.
There you go.
Japan often has a scene for very like niche sports.
Oh,
yeah.
But you need to. I wouldn't even know how you'd even begin to get into stuff like that here.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. It's like a lot of like, I feel Japan is the one country where there are so many small, cool little niches that you can get into, whether it's like physical or just like hobby based or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But like, it's either the point of entry is so high or the community surrounding it is so small and hidden or gatekeepy
Yeah.
that it's just like kind of hard to be like, can I join?
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
without them being like, oh, you want to be a train otaku? Name 5 trains. It's like,
What the
it's like,
fuck?
I don't know. It's like, well,
Yeah.
then fuck off. You know, it's like, there's always that because I wanted to do a video on like kind of the weird, like, you know, like the small little like niche otaku spheres, like the train otakus, the military
yeah.
otakus. But the problem is a lot of those
Train
people
tacos.
just don't want to be public about it and don't want to
Yeah.
talk about it because
Yeah.
they don't want it to be like a mainstream thing. You know, they want to keep it in their small niche.
I know that some of the train attackers.
Is that gatekeepy? I don't know.
Maybe it's.
It is gatekeeping.
It is
Yeah.
gatekeeping.
It totally is gatekeeping, but
I
you
don't
know.
know. I wonder if that's just a Japanese mentality of I don't really want to be on
Yeah.
camera.
That could be it
Because I
as
saw
well.
some of them on the. If you ever watched the James May series in Japan.
Oh, yes,
He,
yes,
yes.
he
Yeah,
talked to some train otakus, and he was like,
I need a TV
he
production
was like,
behind
so,
me, I guess.
so
Train
why do you like
attackers.
trains? And they were, and he was just saying something. He's like, all right,
It's like, all right.
that's cool. 'Cause I actually saw a gun store in Japan.
What?
Like live guns?
Yeah, like a
What?
gun store. I walked past a gun store, and I
Damn.
was like, oh.
Where was it? Shibuya?
No, I remember I walked past it. In
I can
Saitama.
only think of the one in fucking Percentified.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking as well.
I'm like, that's Shibuya, right?
No, it was in Saitama. I remember walking past it and being like, "That's a lot of guns."
Wow.
And I was like,
kind
that-
of guns?
Like real guns, not like
real
airsoft
guns, real guns,
Wow.
definitely real guns. That was definitely real.
Okay.
I remember
shit.
seeing because I saw some of the stuff outside, and I was like, "Whoa, yeah, that's real. That's real."
Oh,
all right.
shit.
Because airsoft guns, they'll have what's the word they call it? They have they'll have like survival game written over it.
Yeah.
I doubt real guns would have
Survival game.
Survival game.
Yeah, that's what they call airsoft.
Hardcore mode.
Yeah, they call airsoft survival game in Japan.
Survival game, yeah.
Yeah, which makes it sound
It's
way
weird.
more hype than airsoft. See, airsoft is a bad name.
Yeah.
I feel like it makes it sound way wimpier than it actually is.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, airsoft. Oh, soft, is it? Soft. airsoft.
Survival game.
Survival game. You're like, whoa. You're like,
I don't know. Airsoft gets a bad rap. It doesn't sound in Canada, but that's like the anti-gun people. It's just a lot of bullshit.
oh wow, I gotta survive.
Oh fuck! All right.
Well, I'm down. So I feel like Airsoft done itself dirty with that name.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I mean, when
gas guns or something.
yeah, I mean, when you're in America with like real guns, you need something to like
That's true,
offset
that's
that.
true.
You're just like, I wanna shoot some guns, but I don't want to shoot something that could kill someone.
Yeah.
Maybe
something that's
just
a little
like
bit
very
soft.
much hurt someone. Let's call it airsoft.
And there's a
guns.
bunch of airsoft bars in Japan as well.
Oh, you went to
Yeah,
one.
I saw your
yeah,
stream,
football,
yeah. I saw the stream.
So much fun.
Yeah.
It was very funny. Going like, see,
Connor broke a gun. He broke something again.
shotgun hitotsu. And I have one shotgun. It was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
I heard you've been to one before as well, right?
I went to one in Sendai. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to Japan, maybe just Google airsoft bars. They're
Yeah.
pretty fun. You can drink and then shoot guns.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
There's a bunch in Tokyo, isn't there?
Yeah. There's, I mean, if you look for very niche odd bars, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
Just go on
It was
TikTok
awesome.
at this point, right? That's the places you find them now.
I didn't know that I needed to shoot a grenade launcher in my life, but now I did.
Yeah.
I know I
Damn.
need that. That was so much fun. Shooting a grenade launcher and then being like, all right, I'll have a sip of my drink now.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was very fun.
I mean,
Hell
talking
yeah.
about things that appeal to niche tastes, it's like Japan is the country of that.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
No, 100%.
Yeah, not just in video games, but in every game.
Everything.
In real life.
Yeah. Real life games.
Real life games.
The non-video games.
Oh yeah, I just remember we went to that fishing restaurant. I hate that place so much.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
that
there's this
place.
restaurant you can go to in Japan, and it's a very big touristy place.
Yeah.
There's a few of them in Japan. And
where you can fish your own fish, right?
Okay, so yes, you fish your.
Is
you
it like
fish
in
the
a
fish
pond
and
where
then you eat it, right? And they'll ask you how you want it prepared, but these fish are like dead. So you have
What?
to like stab them with the hook. You don't
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't catch them. You kind of have to shimmy
What?
the hook into the part of their body and then drag them out.
Yeah.
It's very like, oh, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
And it's like really it's gross.
And also, like, they don't even use the fish that you even fish up, right? Like, they have like a different fish prepared.
I don't
behind or
know
something.
if that-
I don't know if that's a rumor, but I mean, I would hope so. Just from seeing how half dead some of these fish are, I'm like,
I'm
I don't
not
know
sure.
if I don't know if they're good to
Yeah.
eat, dude. Like,
Food is mid as well.
it's alright.
It's fine.
I mean, it's
fine.
just
It's
yeah.
mid. It's just like
fine.
the sushi was fine.
It's
It's
fine.
fine.
I was just like,
Sushi is fine.
It's acceptable.
wish I ate other sushi.
Like what?
Just anything else.
Anything else?
Even sushi roll. Sushi roll.
Yeah, just
like
take me to
the,
a sushi roll, bro.
yeah, sushi chains in Japan, even like the 100 yen ones, pretty fucking
Yeah.
good. They're
Yeah.
pretty decent. They do the trick. As long as it's not, don't get the sushi from the conveyor belt. Just order it from the tablet.
Yeah.
Get it fresh.
Yeah.
I mean, I notice now that it's, even if I go to a conveyor belt sushi place, it's rare that it's full of sushi anymore. Most of the time, people just order from the tablets nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's,
Because it's like, why would I want the sushi that's been going around for 40 minutes? when
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
have
exactly.
the sushi they just made.
yeah, exactly.
Like, that sounds much better. I'll do
Yeah.
that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Even like the cheapest sushi chains you can find in Japan is like better than some of the expensive sushi that you can
God, yeah.
find like worldwide. So that's why in a sense, I prefer going to like cheap conveyor belt sushis and some of like the more higher end sushi places because it's rare that I'm ever full in like the higher end sushi places, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Omakase, is that what it is?
yeah,
Omakase, yeah.
Omakase, yeah.
Omakase.
It's rare that I'm ever full, and I just feel guilty like ordering more from the chef to be like, you didn't feed me enough, give me more, and then you order like 1 or 2 more pieces. I'm like, fuck, how do I tell?
No, I don't think they mind. I don't think they mind that
No,
much.
they don't mind because they're still getting the money for
Yeah,
it.
dude, they pay.
It's like, you're not full, too bad. $200, please.
Okay, so question, because I assume your dad's obviously been to Japan a bunch. Does he love all the sushi? Or is he
He
kind of
doesn't
picky?
love everything. I mean, he'll eat like the majority of like the fish and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But some of the weirder ones, like he doesn't like natto or like
Yeah.
the sperm sacs or
Fuck.
Who the hell? Who the hell likes the sperm sac? Who? That's just nasty.
The sperm
any of that
sac,
kind
yeah.
of, or like I don't even think he likes uni. If I'm not too sure, but like
Yeah, I don't
he
know
obviously
uni.
like, but if it's just like regular white fish or
That's pretty good.
whatever salmon, he'll eat that.
Yeah.
Because obviously my parents want to come visit Japan,
Hmm.
and I'm like, damn, I don't know if they're gonna what kind of sushi they'll like.
Yeah.
Have you thought about this? I mean,
I've
probably-
had to think about this actually.
Do you think your parents are gonna like sushi?
Okay, so I've thought about this for both my parents.
you're like sitting there like Shinji, like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
food should I take them to? I don't know what they'll appreciate.
Because I have my parents coming, and then I
It's kind of funny because it's released on Friday, and his parents always watch Trash Taste on Fridays when it comes out, so they know he's talking about them.
We also have Sydney's parents coming as well. And I'm like, how can I describe Sydney's parents? Like,
Okay, so my parents
pure
are very,
American.
very white British.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's like,
How do I get them to eat anything that isn't cooked?
yeah, like Sydney's parents are like the most American parents you could like ever imagine. Like Sydney's dad is like the epitome of like an American dad. You know? He's like
Red, white, and blue running through his veins, dude.
He's like every American dad you've seen in every sitcom, on every fucking movie, and everything like that. And I'm like, how do I? It's just like, I know. Hi Russell, if you're listening to this, by the way. It's like, I know it's like the type of person you take to a sushi place and he's asking where the fork is, you know? It's just,
I don't even, this is my dad. I don't think I've ever seen my dad use chopsticks. Maybe he does. I don't know actually.
yeah, can your parents use chopsticks?
Pretty sure my mum can. I don't know if my dad. I need to find. I'll find out.
You need to ask them.
I would say maybe start your parents off on, you know, something like salmon, right? The salmon sushi.
Well, that's
and
why I
like
like
the tuna
maybe
sushi.
Yeah.
I will see what they like. I'll take them to a sushi roll.
Yeah.
And I'll be
No,
like,
take them
"All
to a
we're gonna
ramen
try
place
one
first."
of everything.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't.
If you
It's
don't
cooked.
like it, I'll eat it.
I'll eat
They'll learn
it.
to use a
We'll see
chopstick.
how it goes.
Yeah,
All right?
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think sushi should be fine. I'm thinking
But
about,
there are also people who are like very weird about eating raw meat, right?
yeah.
Well, it's not like I'm going to be like, hey, eat this. By the way, it's raw horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, sushi's not the one I'm worried about. It's some of the
They do serve raw horse in Japan. My friend's been asking me if I want to eat raw horse with them. I'm like, no.
other things that they can find in Japan, which might be having
well,
like a little bit harder.
I think a sushi is like, I want them to try that. And other stuff
But
I'm
you
kind
can get sushi in like the UK,
yeah, but I want
right?
to try good sushi. Sushi that's edible, can't.
It's like just take him to a Yo Sushi.
Yeah.
Easy
I want to
clap.
give them sushi that's good. And like sushi roll is fine. Because I don't want to take them to an omakase place and then the sushi chef has been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
Is like, please enjoy. And they're like, what the fuck is
It's
this?
like, here you go. I don't want it. Here you go. I don't want it.
Have you seen I've seen videos of like someone stabbing the sushi with the fork and then
Oh,
putting
yeah.
in like their salad.
What the
and
fuck?
Eating it. Yeah. I've seen videos of these from because of tourist officers coming in.
Oh
more.
my
Yeah.
fucking god.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wonder what other dishes do you want them to try?
What is like, you know, well actually it depends. When are they coming?
Oh, it's like April. Probably.
April?
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I think in January.
Oh, okay.
Shit.
Oh,
I just holy shit.
Maybe like a
Don's gonna be the beta tester.
yeah, I think they'd enjoy
sukiyaki or something?
Yeah, sukiyaki.
Although the raw egg might throw them off a bit.
Yeah,
No, I'm gonna
that-
make him eat sukiyaki.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like,
you gotta
trust,
make
trust,
them try sukiyaki.
Trust. It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. I think I can get away with raw egg. You know.
Okay.
I think they'll complain about it and they'll think it's weird, but as soon as they try it, hopefully.
I mean,
Fingers crossed.
I feel like if you're younger, it's probably easier, right? Because you're more open to trying new foods,
Yeah.
right? Obviously, if you're older, you've been eating the same things your whole life, and you're less
Yeah.
like, well,
Sure.
I've survived without raw egg. I
Yeah.
don't think I want to try it.
It's just like the Japanese cuisine is just so vastly different from like Western cuisine, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, now the world's become more, let's say, like globalized and everything like that. So people our age, I feel like we've had more of a chance to try all these different types of cuisines and stuff
definitely.
like that.
Yeah.
But when you get to our parents' age, you know, it was a lot
can
harder
get
to try
stubborn.
different cuisines back then, let's say.
Oh,
It's-
yeah. Oh,
in,
gotcha.
in fact, it's like surprised me so much just how much choice there is nowadays.
UK went from like nothing to like
Yeah.
good now.
Exactly. You know, I go to like
But
most
expensive.
major cities and they have like proper cuisines of like every type. Whereas I remember before, you go to a Chinese restaurant and there was only like one type of Chinese restaurant, you know, which was just basically
Orange
Hong Kong.
chicken.
Yeah, orange chicken, Kung Pao chicken. Like
Those are
and now
American.
like you go to the UK and there's like so many different types of Chinese restaurant, which is how it should be. It's like Szechuan food, there's like Chinese
Yeah.
hot pot. And I'm just like,
Ooh,
wow,
I miss
this
Chinese
choice
hot
wasn't
pot.
there when I was growing up in England. God knows what the choice was like when my parents were, you know.
It might also be because maybe back in our parents' generation, there wasn't enough like understanding or knowledge on the subtle differences of a lot of like food like that. So maybe they existed. Like maybe, you know, like Szechuan food and hot pot and like, you know, traditional Chinese food did
Yeah.
exist, but it was probably all just labeled under Chinese food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And it's probably just like, oh, it's from China, so it must be just Chinese food.
Yeah.
And you didn't probably, there wasn't enough information out there to be like, oh, this is a different type of Chinese food.
Yeah.
Or this is a different type of Indian food.
Yeah.
Or, you know, anything like that, right? Because like, you know, I'm sure like back in our parents' day, there was just like, there's Asian food. And that's it. There's Asian food and there is non-Asian food.
No, I remember.
you know?
I remember when I was growing up in Brighton, at least when we wanted Chinese or Japanese food, they were both under the same restaurant.
Yeah.
It wasn't Chinese or Japanese. It was Chinese
so
and
sad.
Japanese.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
It was like an Asian fusion,
Yeah.
right?
It was
It
Asian
feels like
fusion.
the opposite.
I live in Ontario, Canada. Chinese and Japanese food is like in separate restaurants, not under one. What the fuck? That sounds so cursed.
terms of like flavors.
Yeah.
Like, Chinese food is often quite heavy, maybe oily.
Yeah.
Whereas Japanese
food is very light.
very
Not
light,
so
very-
many spices.
Yeah.
You know,
not a lot
Meanwhile,
of oil.
Korean food is full of spices,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
I mean, I remember
food
when
goes hard.
when growing up, Korean food just wasn't a thing.
No.
I was like, you had zero choice of Korean cuisine, and nobody knew about it either. It was either Chinese or Japanese or
That's true.
Indian, you know.
yeah.
And it's just weird now seeing how many different cuisines are like coming up there. Like Vietnamese cuisine is like coming up as well, whereas before I was just like, oh, it's I've had
Vietnamese food has always been a thing in Ontario, Canada. Good time.
Thai food. That's that's just all Southeast Asian
before it
food,
was
right?
Let's hit
Yeah.
up that Asian restaurant that has sushi, pad thai,
Yeah.
orange chicken. Like,
Oh my
just
God,
has
that sounds
everything.
scary.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure didn't the Thai government, and I think it might still does, like they sponsor a lot of people opening up Thai restaurants abroad
If they do, that's 5 head.
because
That's
they
genius.
wanted Thai food to be like really well known.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did that. Can we
wouldn't-
fact check?
I wouldn't be
this, Thai?
surprised.
Because I think if you look at all the foreign foods from like Southeast Asia, like it's only like Thai food is the big one that
Yeah.
like has been pushed the most.
Yeah.
I think it's because the government was like, hey, we need to get our food out there.
I mean, makes sense when pretty much everyone in my parents' and dad's side who emigrated out of Thailand started a restaurant business. So
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was like
checks out, I
there was
guess.
some kind of program. Maybe
There is not a single Thai person who has come out from outside Thailand who didn't at one point in their lives own a
oh,
restaurant.
Yeah. I'm just thinking. I'm just like,
we had
let
the
me-
fact check.
Okay.
All right.
What do you think?
2002, the Thai government had been funding,
2002.
thousands of restaurants around the world to make them authentic.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
That,
Thai
that's
government-
5 head.
Yeah, because they
Genius.
realize like, hey, how do we get our name on the map? Let's make
Yeah.
bomb ass food. The people are going to be like, no, I don't want Chinese. I want Thai food.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
you think about it more, right? You know the country. You know about it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about some other Southeast Asian countries because the food isn't really like pushed.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's kind of it's very niche.
And food is very intrinsically linked to the culture, too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
like,
it
like,
is.
you
It
know,
bro, like, dude, I mean, I swear, half of the hype around Italy is how goddamn good their food is.
Yeah.
but no one ever thinks to stop about their government.
we don't talk about the Italian government. The Italian politics, we don't talk about.
Italian politics
Yeah.
be kind of whack, but their food
Yeah, I
is
guess
goddamn good.
everyone you
Yeah.
know, you think about it.
Tifa, my vote is for Tifa. Italian government, I'm letting you know, I'm putting my vote for Tifa.
Yeah, every single family member that has emigrated out of Thailand, and I have a
Started a restaurant.
fucking big family, by the way, or in my parents' generation, started a restaurant business.
Makes
or
sense.
worked for a restaurant business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like in the 1980s though.
Is there a particular cuisine that you want more people in the world to like know about or try that you think is like personally?
Fuck, you're asking the white guy here.
Underrated.
Subway sandwiches.
No.
I don't know,
Jelly eels.
Fuck
Damn,
that.
I really want to just try more Southeast Asian food, but worldwide, everyone should know. That's hard to say.
I still think to this day Greek food is underrated.
No,
You don't like Greek food?
no, dude.
Greek food.
Greek food is so hit or miss.
Really?
Yeah.
And dude,
I agree
it's
with
all
that.
down to what's the fucking sauce they put on everything.
Tzatziki.
Yeah, if that shit doesn't, if they didn't make that properly, the food, none of
Oh,
the food works.
I mean,
Yeah.
not making good tzatziki at a Greek restaurant is being like, oh, we got vinegar instead of soy sauce for your sushi. It's like, it's like
it's-
such
but the
a
whole,
staple that it's like, if you fucked up at that point, there's no going up from there.
I've had some amazing Greek food that I thought was so good, but so often Greek restaurants are outside of Greece are so shit. It's like whoever runs it just hates everyone. I don't, and they
Is
don't.
that in the UK?
Damn.
In the UK, or I've been anywhere else in Europe. I've gone to other places in like America and I've tried Greek food, and it's like I don't know what it is. It's so hit or miss.
Really?
Like, it's like Italian. you can normally rely on it to be decent, or at least one or two items that you like, and there's always something. And to be honest, you have to really fucking try to fuck up Italian food.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I'm not
true.
saying that it's easy to make, but like at least the base ingredients are pretty readily available, and the recipes aren't too complicated. And like you have to really be an awful chef.
Maybe
to
I
fuck it
just
up.
had it good because in Australia we have a lot of Greek immigrants.
Maybe like I feel
and
like that's
I've been
how
to
you
like
get a good
2
shit.
or 3 Greek restaurants in Sydney, and they were all fucking bomb. They were so good. So good.
I don't know if this is like anecdotal. I think I've had the worst service consistently in Greek restaurants.
Really?
I
What
the
think
fuck?
so.
I've had the best
Am I allowed to
service.
say that? I feel like really, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know. Is that
Like there was a Greek restaurant. It's not there anymore. That was like near my house,
Yeah.
and like we would go there because it was quite expensive, and it's expensive to eat out in Australia.
Yeah.
Right? We would go there for like if it's like a family member's birthday or if it's like a New Year's thing or something like that, some kind of celebration. And we went so often year after year that like the head chef and like most of the people who worked there just knew who we were.
Yeah.
And we got some of the best fucking service ever. Like I've never seen my dad tip in Australia except for at this Greek restaurant.
Oh my god.
Every time
Damn.
my dad's like, my man,
I
here
wish
you
we
go.
could have gone there. Damn.
Yeah, and it's not there anymore.
I don't know. Maybe I need to try some more restaurants.
Maybe.
There's some recommendations.
I mean,
bet
I
in-
haven't been to Greece, so I don't know if I've had like
I've been to
authentic
Greece. I like
Greece
Greece.
food,
It's
but-
nice.
Yeah.
Everything was really cheap. I remember that. I remember the
then
food
that-
was quite good.
Yeah, but that's what makes me want to go because I had such a good experience at Greek restaurants in Australia, literally on the other side of the fucking planet from Greece, that I'm sure the food in actual Greece is just as good, if not better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the food in Greece.
Usually,
Yeah, I feel like I need to try more like Greek foods. I think there's one thing that I feel like I don't gel with Greek food, and it's just unfortunate that I just don't really like feta cheese. You know, I'm not.
You don't like feta?
I don't really like feta,
A lot of people don't.
I don't like Parmesan.
and that's
It
just-
is a strong taste.
It
It
is.
is like a very
It's so
very
good though when it's fresh.
It is a very very strong taste. A bit too strong for
You
my
like-
palate.
You like lamb though, right?
Yeah, I like lamb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Greek lamb, bro.
Don't worry, I'm not Emily. Don't worry, I'm not Emily.
Yeah, so Emily and Didas go, yeah, when I eat lamb, it tastes like goat's cheese. And I'm like, what?
What?
Like yes, they come, goat's cheese and whatever. I'm like, how the fuck does the meat taste like the goat's cheese?
But I don't trust someone who said yuzu tastes like lemon cleaner.
I don't like yuzu that much though.
But do you think it tastes like lemon cleaner?
It's a very strong taste, I will admit. I don't know if it's.
I want
go
to
that
get
far.
Emily back on because she's the only person I've met that could like rival
She has
all
such
of our
shit food
tastes,
taste.
like put together.
God.
Like holy shit!
it hot
Every
take
time
time?
she comes out, every time
take
she
time?
like in private or on fucking Twitter, every time like we talk about food, she'll say something fucking outrageous, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I thought I had bad food.
I'm just like,
taste,
I'm
Emily.
sorry, I don't believe I heard what you just
Yeah.
said. Could you repeat that for a second?
So Emily told me she didn't like lamb, and I was like, "What? What do you mean you don't like lamb?" And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe you've just had really bad lamb.
Yeah.
'Cause, like
Yeah,
in America,
that's my thought.
I don't think they got many good lambs. All right,
Yeah.
I don't think it's fresh. I don't think it's good stuff. I was like, whatever. I'll take you to somewhere that does really good lamb in Hokkaido. It's really good shit. That place we went to. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Genius Complex.
Yeah, and I was like, let's just try this. It's a different style. You cook it on a grill.
You got
and
the
then,
stare one, right?
Yeah. and then
that's
you-
so good.
You get like veg on the side and it cooks. And I was like, all right, we'll try every cut. And I just try a little bit of each one. Because she was like, I don't dislike lamb. I just don't think it's that good.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every single one, she was like, there's like goat's cheese. And I was
What
like,
the fuck?
and then she was like, I just think beef is way better than this. And I'm like, what? What? It's like it's different foods, different occasions. I think I don't know what it is.
Does she not
Well,
like the
that's
gaminess
not
of
that
it? Maybe?
I
bad.
think so, maybe. Yeah. And I can accept people don't.
It tastes
don't
like goat's cheese.
But
I'm
yeah,
like-
I don't understand.
I
the goat
understand
cheese.
if you don't like it for the gaminess, but not for the subtle cheese flavor that it has, which it
Where the
doesn't.
fuck is the goat cheese
I don't
coming
know
from?
what she's on.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, that was frustrating. But I like lamb a lot. Obviously, I'm Welsh. I love lamb.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
I
feel
love
like
lamb
a lot of times in Wales they didn't really cook it very well.
Yeah, I will say
It was always lamb chops as well.
Yeah, I will say like comparing like lamb to beef is like a lot harder to fuck up.
Yeah.
I feel like lamb, if you don't cook it correctly or if the meat quality is not good, there is like a real strong aftertaste that can be very off-putting with
gamey, yeah.
lamb. But when you get good lamb, fucking incredible.
Have you ever had someone ask you how would you like your pork cooked?
No.
Someone was like, "Do you want your pork medium rare?" And I was like, "What?"
No.
It's like,
No.
what do you?
What?
What do you?
No.
I'm like, what do you
No.
mean? So I went to a katsu place.
Yeah.
Katsu
Right.
is breaded pork
cutlet.
and then
Pork
and then
cutlets.
like fried.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Do you want it rare or medium rare or well done?" I was like, "What?" I was like, "What do you mean?"
It's tonkatsu.
Yeah. I was like, "Isn't it deep fried? How do you do what?" I was like, what do you mean? I was very confused. And they were like, the
Also,
chef.
Also, it's pork. You should not be.
Yeah, so the chef was like, we recommend it medium rare. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll trust you because it's your pork and you do this a lot.
Yeah.
So I'll get medium rare.
Okay.
And it was slightly pink, very slightly pink. Like a little bit of pink in the middle.
Yeah.
But it was bomb. It was really fucking good.
Oh, okay.
And I was like,
Is it
Okay.
safe?
yeah, I assume so. Otherwise, I don't think
I
they'd be
hope it
open
was
if it was
safe.
poison.
Isn't red pork like kind of bad?
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it? Can we Google this?
But then this is also the country that also does like
Raw
rare
chicken.
Raw
But
chicken and
like
stuff
it was
like-
Fucking raw
when I
chicken.
say it was the one I posted on Twitter, that picture of the katsu. So like it was clearly
that looks
all
good.
white with just very dots of pink in the middle. So I
Right,
assume they were
right.
trying to cook it because often if you ever come to Japan and you have cheap katsu, sometimes it can be like fighting. Like it is fighting a war. You're like
Yeah.
biting really hard to kind of separate because the chunks are normally quite big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do kind of want to. It's normally at least a 2-biter, and sometimes it is pretty hard to get through it. And you're like, okay, shit. Maybe it makes sense that it would be medium rare, but it worked. It worked.
Yeah, if it's a little bit pink, it's okay.
If it's a little bit pink, it's okay. So that's probably why. It was good. It was tasty. Highly recommend it. There was a chain. They
Oh,
have
I'm sure
one
it's
Tokyo.
bomb, but like I would also be a little bit worried if the chef came up to me and said, "How would you like it prepared?"
I was taken aback because
Like, excuse me?
I'd never had that before. It was like a bog standard corner street katsu place, and I was
Yeah.
not
That's like
ready.
asking how you want your chicken done. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Can I get my chicken rare, please?
Rare,
Oh,
please.
no.
So
rare chicken. No rare chicken.
I ordered it and I was like, oh, well, you know, what do you mean? Like I'd never heard a chef ask me that, and I thought he was saying something else. 'Cause I thought I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Because I was like, what the fuck do you mean medium rare? What? No, I didn't get beef. I'm pork.
Yeah.
But no, it was that. It was good. I recommend it. So if you ever get asked in Japan, how do you want your tonkatsu? And if the guy recommends medium rare, trust him. He knows what he's talking about.
So bottom line with the Emily thing, she tried all.
I'm gonna go to Japan, order medium rare and tonkatsu. If I get food poisoning, I'm gonna tweet back at him saying I blame it's all his fault.
All those beautiful cuts of meat, right? A lot of it was Australian cuts as well, if I remember.
a lot of Australian
correctly.
cuts, and there was deer there as well.
Deer
there's
as well.
a cut of deer.
Ooh.
She liked the deer
It's
more
all-
than
it's
the
all
Outside
lamb.
deer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
she liked
shit's
the deer
bomb,
more.
yeah.
And then she was
And-
like, goat cheese in it.
I think she just liked. I think people just like beef sometimes, and I think some people associate like beef in their meat in their head as chicken or beef, and then pork is somewhere in the middle. But I think some people, when they've only really eaten chicken and beef a lot, they kind of only really think about those two when they think of meat.
It's like there's the white meat, and there's the red meat,
And so
there's
every
everything else,
flavor
yeah.
of meat in their mind is like a tree that starts from chicken or beef, and then they tie it.
Right.
So I think
No.
like some kind of,
That's
I
just-
think there's
what?
some kind of thing when you just don't eat anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a mental thing, right? Where
think so.
you try something new.
Mental diff.
And you're just like,
mental diff.
Mental
Oh,
death.
you don't like lamb? Mental diff.
skill tree.
skill issue, innit?
Skill issue. You don't enjoy lamb. Listen, what did she expect when she said to the Welsh person, "I don't like lamb"? And I was like, "What do
Yeah.
you? No, that's not allowed. It's because you've had shit lamb."
Yeah, it's how you shit lamb. But now she's had good lamb, and
I
apparently that didn't change.
I didn't change her mind. Apparently, at the end of it, she was like, "No, it still all tastes like goat cheese." I'm like, "What the fuck is your palate? What is this shit?"
Every time
Jesus
someone's
Christ.
like allergic, like deathly allergic to a food, now I'm gonna be like, skill issue, innit?
Skill issue.
Skill issue.
Skill
Can't
issue.
have nuts. Fucking skill issue, innit?
How?
Like-
Why do we just
Should have
get
restarted the game.
Why do we get allergic to things? Why does that happen? Do we know? Do we know
Why allergies happen?
Yeah, why we just become allergic to shit?
Skill issue.
Yeah, maybe it's a genetic diff, born diff.
No, what I don't understand more is how is it that your body is just like, yeah, so you're allergic to this, this, and this, by the way, so don't ever have it in your body.
Is
And
it-
then 20 years later, they're like, never mind, I changed my mind.
Is it like
you're good now?
Is it like
that's
a
weird.
you know how like games when they ship and there's bugs? Is it like that where like
it's like a patch.
I feel like there's got to be like some kind of bug on the DNA strand.
Well,
where it's
because like
Yeah.
you are allergic to this fruit that is nowhere near where you are born and no one in your ancestors have ever eaten. You're like, what?
well, because my dad
How did that happen?
my dad was born with a prawn allergy.
Okay.
And then at the age of like
Shrimp for you Americans.
20, one day he was just like, yeah, and then I could eat it. My allergy just went away. I'm like, how
weird.
does
How?
that look?
Yeah, I don't
How?
get it.
Yeah.
Or some people who are allergic to like everything. You're like, what went wrong? Like, what happened? How did you just get allergic to everything? Like, what? How does
Or
this
you
happen?
developed an allergy to cats.
I developed an allergy to cats
Which-
and some breeds of
Skill
dogs.
diff.
Yeah.
Skill diff, dude.
Yeah, I got debuffed.
Imagine not being able to pet every dog. I would end it. I would be like,
my
I would end it now.
I would just start again. New save file, dog.
New game plus.
Okay, plus,
I'm specking differently on the skill tree. Minus intelligence, not allergic to dogs.
Sauron is dead.
What's the point?
Man.
My happiness meter cannot be full.
I've maxed out my dog petting skill tree.
Yeah.
It's just
Fuck, man.
Who's a good
I
boy?
need to tell him he's a good
Who's
boy.
a good boy?
Kai?
Well, it's just your immune system just mistakes a normal substance for something that's dangerous.
That's so fucking stupid.
That's fucked
Our
up,
body
isn't it?
just thinks it's something else. It's like, oh god, you're dying. It's just a chicken wing. It's like, what?
Is there anyone allergic to chicken?
Maybe. You know what we should do for Trash Taste?
Yeah.
We should take one of those allergy tests and then we should report our results. Are we allergic
Yeah.
to any weird specific things?
Oh, yeah.
You can,
Oh, yeah.
they can give you like a test where they prick you with like
Everything,
2,000 different
Yeah,
little
yeah,
things.
yeah,
yeah.
And they're like, all right, look, you're allergic to octopus fangs.
Octopus though, you're good. Just avoid the fangs.
Yeah, I don't think they have fangs.
They have beaks.
Yeah. Making it up.
Yeah, because it's so weird. Because I used to be, I used to get hay fever, and then I didn't, and then I was just like, I don't know what happened. I just woke up one day, and then I just didn't.
Wait. So you had hay fever in the UK, but not here, right?
No, I had hay fever in the UK.
Yeah.
And then when I turned like 18 or something, I just stopped having hay fever.
Really?
What the hell?
Yeah, I don't get it in the UK or anything anymore.
Your body just decided to be a Giga Chat one day. Like, you just woke up.
Your immune system was like, stop sneezing now.
Told my body to get good, and it did. So you
It's
know,
like,
that's
it's like when I hear about people who like they ignored their lactose intolerance so much that they just somehow stopped being lactose intolerant. I'm like, you sacrifice so much.
No, but that's an actual thing that can happen. It's like, because like I
You
think
can also develop it if you don't have enough dairy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But also, you can do the same thing with like cats, for example.
Yeah.
If you live with the same cat that you started off as being allergic to,
Yeah.
and you just let your immune system just fight that shit for like, I think it's like a couple of weeks on average.
Can we check this is true, by the
Yeah,
way,
but
before we start promoting bullshit?
It is true because that's what happened to Chris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chris was allergic to cats, but then when Chris and Charlotte started living
Yeah.
together, she has a cat.
Yeah.
And then he had to live with this cat for, however many weeks. After a while, he's like, I'm not allergic to this particular cat. now." Your body just learns to process that particular cat's allergens or whatever the fuck it is.
when they were trying to keep it a secret, he had a cat, and then just the cat hair constantly kept appearing on him.
Yeah.
That was so funny.
It's like, really? Chris, where's your
Come
cat?
on, man.
Where's your cat,
Come on,
bro?
trying to
Come
keep it
on.
a secret. You got
Rookie
a cat.
error. Rookie mistake. Yeah, but so like that is like one way that you can just get over it. So it's really interesting in the case with Chris, it's that he's not allergic to this one particular cat that he lives
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
but every other cat he's still allergic to.
Huh.
That's just
And
weird.
And it's like your body just being like, yeah, you're good with this. All these other ones though, no, you're still fucked.
Being allergic to these fruits and whatever the fuck, any of this stuff,
yeah.
I could live with that. But I couldn't be lactose intolerant, man. A world without cheese is one I don't want to be in.
Aren't we all
No,
technically a little bit lactose
No.
intolerant?
No.
We are.
I'm ignoring
Connor,
the
I
fact.
know if you were lactose intolerant, you would just take the L and just like fight.
I
through
would.
it.
I would fight through
As,
it. I
as
would
the
be-
You
man
get
who
food
has
poisoning
food
every
poisoning
day.
every fucking week, you would just like
Lactose intolerant is not an illness.
like when you hear about the stories of like kids who are allergic to peanut butter are like, fuck it. They eat like the peanut butter, the like Reese's cup and then just stab themselves with the EpiPen. It's like, I think I would be that kid. I would be like, fuck it. Like,
Yo, if that kid was in America, that would be like $200, an EpiPen of $200 wasted just to eat peanut butter.
sitting profusely on the toilet, seeing like the cheese risotto thing they do, where they
Not to
cook
mention
like
the
they put
hospital
the
room.
risotto
Carve
in.
the cheese
Yeah.
They
in.
like carve the cheese. I'm like, all right,
all right, good enough.
Load the bidet ready. I'm going in.
Yeah, like I have some friends who live here who are like full on lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
Like can't eat any cheese at all. Some days when
Well,
I'm
it's-
out
it's
eating with them, I'm
Asian,
like,
Asian, right?
Yeah.
They have
yeah. Some
lactose
days I'm just
intolerant.
out eating with them and they're just like, fuck it. It's like, that looks too good. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna take the hit.
So fucking cheese is so fucking good.
I'm just gonna be shitting
God, I
through a
love
straw
cheese.
for the next 2 days.
God, I love. That's the one thing I can agree on with French people.
yeah,
Cheese?
fucking great.
Cheese. No, I
Shit.
love cheese. So I would cry profusely if I was lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
I would too.
I just don't think I
same
could do
here.
it. I don't think I could continue.
I don't think so.
I'm just glad I don't have a food allergy. You know?
Yeah, you know when you go to a restaurant and you're like, "Do you have any food allergies?" No.
It's like, damn, Giga Chat theme starts playing.
Play it. No.
Because I love food so much and I love like
It's a
so
common-
many variations of food that like it would just be such like an immediate hindrance to just like actually get explorative with food. I feel,
Yeah.
and it sucks. It must fucking suck. But like, you know,
Yeah, I got some friends with some peanut allergies where it's like you have to go into a restaurant as a fucking battle because you have to profusely make sure that they know, like, hey, I cannot have anything with peanuts remotely near peanuts. You cannot breathe near peanuts and walk near me. Like they're
Or they
sometimes
die.
They take it seriously and sometimes they don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate because I remember when during my wedding, you know, obviously I had to get everyone's dietary requirements.
Oh, yeah.
And then everyone was just like, fine. And then, you know, I had one person have to like send me a fucking shopping list. I was like,
no.
this is what you have to live with?
We were with a friend in the UK who's allergic to sesame.
Yeah.
But they're Asian. So, if they want to eat Asian food.
How? Sesame? Asian? How? You're not an you would be kicked out. You would not be an Asian anymore. You would not be considered an Asian person anymore.
how do they
A
manage?
lot of the time, it's like, please don't put sesame in it. And like they're like, yeah, of course. Of course, they use sesame oil a lot of the time to cook or whatever. They just forget. So they would get sick a lot. Well, boys, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Trash Taste. Thank you.
You know,
That's it?
It was nice to have a food conversation and not be shouting at each other's throat. For
Where's
once.
the hot?
How rare is that we bring up
Well, it's because we
food?
weren't talking about what we liked. We talked about what is shit.
I thought it would be
talked about
worse.
what other people
I thought
can't
there would be
eat.
more excitement.
Stuff that I like and that others don't.
It's not my problem.
Shout out to those who are allergic to foods. Sorry about the skill issue, but hope you get over it.
Built diff.
Genetic diff.
The run's dead, man. Restart it. Hey, look at all these patrons, though.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That, you know, there's one thing these patrons are not allergic to, and that's trash taste.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully. Maybe one day they'll develop an allergy for it.
Oh my god, it's going
Blink
so
twice
fast.
if your mum took your credit card away. But hey, if you want to support the show, then go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify. And buy our new merch.
My drunk dad who just watched his favorite. Oh my god.
Yes.
That's a thing.
Yes.
Look at that. Look at this Giga Chad right
Connor's
here.
got our early jumper.
Buy Giga Chad, buy the merch.
All right.
Link in the description. Go check it out. Hell yeah.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm gonna end it right here. Thank you for watching. I don't even know if I'm gonna post this. Bye bye.